I made a mistake staying to 30 mic. It's not worth it. It's all over for me. Look where we are. We've been stuck at home. You know, it's been downhill. It just made me realize the good old days are gone. Like, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. I'm just going to expose myself, by the way, John, because you were too classy to. I was the one holding us up in the lobby, apparently, because I didn't join the casters slot. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For the one time you can blame the casters for the draft not starting. It was my fault this time. Well, maybe not. I mean, it might not load anyway. It seems like the countdown's going down, so maybe no draft to come, Jonathan, which is really sad because I'm very excited to see how OG versus 9Pandas does go. Again, I mean, if we're going to reiterate history from today, OG has not won a game, which is rather surprising to me. I know they've got a stand-in in Seb, but we've seen how great Seb performs at the last second, just joining his team. So 0-4 for OG. This could be the chance for them to put a score on the board for themselves, but for now, not so much. And we don't have a draft, by the way, because the issues continue.
This takes me back to good old 2018, 2019, Mike. And I think the worst one was 2020, when we would cover some of these games and there would be like 30 people in the lobby and we would be stuck here for at least 15 minutes. So this takes me back. I think in moderation, something like this is pretty fun. You know, you and I get to have a conversation. We literally haven't talked since Bali. You've replaced me with a baby. So this is the most mic time I've had in, 2 weeks. I've been deprived. I'm happy. This is good. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. Well, with that, Jonathan, I mean, we might be heading to a break at this point. It's, there's probably no point in us continuing to talk complete garbage until the, in fact, we might just wait a second. Maybe the game will start. Hopefully it does. If it does, we'll stay here. Oh, it started. Here we go. Oh, the draft is here. Even our producer was getting ready to tell us we're going to a break. But the draft has officially begun, ladies and gentlemen. In we go. Look at that. The client does work. Very good.
Amazing. We are actually in. We're into a game. We'll see what gets banned out. I'm not sure if Morphling's still a high priority, because that here frankly feels dead post-nerfs, but should still see stuff like maybe Broodmother being banned out. It still feels pretty high priority. Beastmaster could still be up there. Doom Techies, perhaps Undying. Pugna not as high priority anymore, so I wouldn't be too surprised if any of those were taken out. Instead, the IO specifically banned against OG. Makes enough sense. To stay in support, they love playing around at. What's so funny, Mike?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John. I was alt-tabbing to fix my, my settings here, right? And I couldn't help but notice everyone's going off at me now. I mean, we've got Brian from OG telling me to get me off the stream before the Swifties come after me. Lane's upset at me throwing shade at Boom. I don't know why he's upset, John, because this is the only way Boom can get to Riyadh is me just talking about them, so he should probably be very happy for the free marketing right now. I love you. I love you, Zachary. Come on now. I mean, get to a LAN, My God, I want to see you guys again. Where's Gary? Someone call Gary.
His name isn't even Zachary, isn't it? It's not.
It's Zach.
It's Zach. It's short for Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, but your name isn't Jonathan either, John. Jonathan's not really a name.
Fair enough.
I like to extend names,
Okay. Okay. It's the air down there in Australia. We can attribute it to that. I suppose Snapfire being banned out by 9Pandas, one of the rarer universal types that has not been nerfed to the ground, and there's that Undying gone. Again, Doom's a safe option here for 9Pandas. I think we've seen Ramses play that in Pause 1, so you can kind of flex it with him and Yarrow. Techies is still open. The Silencer for solo is still there if he wants to dig back into that, which we've seen him play a ton of in a lot of tournaments, so wouldn't be too surprised if those are priorities. Condolences to everyone that got burned by Mike. This is just how he is. After staying with him for, 6 years now, Mike? 7 years? Yeah, you get used to it. That's just how he talks.
Yeah, absolutely. 9Pandas. They're going to put priority on the Rubik, straight up. And this has been a hero that's been quite popular as of late, I'd argue, this Rubik hero. OG, on the other hand, are going to get started with the Darks here, John. And this is another hero I've been seeing a lot of right into the Enigma. Very interesting kind of opening.
Yeah, not too surprising. I think this is a lot of Wombo combo coming out for OG. The fact that you pick Enigma into Rubik maybe is a little bit concerning. So you're already not set to have the best of times in Enigma if you're really just gunning for Black Hole, but you're really just looking for laning here on OG. You know, you're looking for Taika to just crush a lane. Malphus early on feels amazing. The Pulse feels good as well. The Midnight Pulse is a lot of damage early on. It doesn't feel too bad. If you're looking to crush lanes, just get a solid laning partner on safe lane with the Enigma. It can be pretty oppressive to play into. The Beastmaster coming out, though, from 9Pandas. So you've got the Beastmaster Rubik lane. I think it starts to feel pretty good there. So that's a lane that's pretty hard to lane into. You can kind of handle the boar spam, but the axis spam is still going to be an issue here. And there is a pretty good chance you could build Ags here for the Beastmaster. You're going into the Darkseer. There's going to be a bunch of illusions coming out, even just from normal punch. So the Ags build up for Beastmaster isn't too bad. I wouldn't be surprised if you still go back to the Overlord rush here, though.
We'll see. I'm kind of going back to the OG draft, and I know you've already gone over this, but I'm quite confused with the opening. Like, this Darkseer Enigma just doesn't inspire much confidence in me, to say the least. And I know you already pointed out the fact that there's a Rubik against them that they're going to have to play into. So it's just very interesting to me that they went down this route. See, 9Pandas, I do agree with your point. Like, they are probably going to go down the Home of the Overlord route anyway with this hero, but see, the Raw is always going to be very effective against a hero like Enigma. Just being able to roar through the black hole, force a Lincolns to be brought out if they feel they need it. Even against the Darkseer, doesn't really enjoy the Beastmaster too much. I don't know, OG's definitely cooking something, Jonathan. I'm just not sure where it is.
Yeah, again, I'm seeing a lot of good wombo combo. I think it's just risky with Enigma into Rubik, but you're looking at pretty decent enough lanes. I think you'd want something aggressive with your Darkseer now. Something that can play with Iron Shell. Although, again, that's not something we've seen prioritized too much with Darkseer. But I would still like to see it. I think when you pick the Darkseer up, you do want to have a stronger start in lane. You want to shut down the enemy safe laner pretty hard. That has been key for success up against 9Pandas. Constant pressure onto Ramses, I think, has been a big factor in stopping that farm, as we've seen from even back in like Dream League 19. Like this is the one thing that you can get done. If you slow Ramses down, you can impact the timings of everyone else, just because they're going to be hanging back. They're going to be playing more defensive until Ramses is ready to go. And depending on the hero he picks up, it can feel underwhelming considering the time investment. So, yeah, just Darkseer plus, I don't know, like Clockwork and Nyx could still feel pretty good. Although, again, it's a pretty blind pick into 9Pandas safe lane. They have banned out the good old Storm for Kiyotaka, which we know he loves. The Alchemist gone as well for Ramses. 9Pandas taking care of the Spirit Breaker, which it's fairly annoying to kind of have to worry about that, especially as the game scales on. Would be a really good combo with the Darkseer as well. And taking care of the Drow and the Faces Void as well. So just taking out safe bans. Nothing too surprising here.
Oh, well, let's see what they go for the final ban for OG. One more core to go before we can continue, I'm sure. OG, I'll have a bit of a think about it. See, we did have that recent patch, the nerf patch I like to call it. I don't think it's changed too much, apart from heroes like Morphling just not being quite as good, but still seems somewhat relevant in this meta. So OG, still having to think about this this final ban up before we can continue the drafts. This draft from OG just still very intriguing. Like, you also mentioned the wombo combo of the Darkseer Enigma, but certainly not something that's very easy to hit, to say the least. So OG do get rid of the Pangolier, right into the Clockwork pickup, which I suppose Clockwork has proven to be a pretty nice support as of late, so why the hell not? Just kind of your nice initiation, very distracting in the middle of a team fight. So it does decently against supports like Rubik as well. You don't really tend to mind the Rubik too much. Apart from that, though, I suppose it's just Clockwork. It just feels very nice at the moment.
Yeah, and again, you've got the Darkseer combination in lane. You really just want to crush down that lane, play with the Iron Shell. Level 3 Spike feels pretty good for OG there. Oracle being picked up by 9Pandas. So you've got a really strong save coming out from 9Pandas now, from that rundown. You've got a way of rooting up when you see the Darkseer start to storm in as well in your lane with the Clockwork, so you have a way of holding them back, and the Jug placed nicely into that lane. Just having counterplay with a spin is already pretty damn big. You can be aggressive onto the Clockwork. It's not a bad lane for 9Pandas at all. And down the line, this is a very niche case, but if you can get Ags on Oracle, That false promise with the minus 0.15 on the BAT can feel amazing on the jug.
5 seconds remaining.
It certainly does. You talk about this to me all the time, this Aghanim's Oracle, and we might actually get to see it this game around. I mean, it would be quite ridiculous. The old false promise Ags with the Juggernaut. We shall see if it ever gets to that stage, but it would be a hell of a lot of fun to watch. I think it was Winter as well that was talking about this recently, because apparently he's an Oracle player, Jonathan. I don't know how much I believe him as an Oracle player myself, but was kind of talking about the fact that he does like cores that can really play off your false promise quite well, and I suppose Juggernaut is one of those heroes that can basically heal himself up through a false promise with that healing ward, so you kind of get a bit of bonus value there in some sense, I suppose. As OG, they're going to go down the Templar Assassin route. Hell, even without the false promise healing ward combination, like, even just having Fate's Edict plus having Spin, like, having two ways of just removing so much magic damage from this jug is probably going to feel really damn nice. Apart from the obvious laning strength of Oracle Jug, which is pretty high. Yeah, Fortune's End into Spin is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, as once you hit level 20 on Jug, you get the Blade Fury critical strike heals you for 50%. That's already enough, right? Like, you false promise, you're low, you false promise, you Omni Slash or Swift Slash, you're basically back to full HP by the time false promise is gone. So this is a very good self-reliant combination with Jug and Oracle. The TA pickup should be our mid pick here, I'm pretty sure, for OG. They tend to just give that to BZM. Perhaps maybe run BZM on safe lane, if I recall right, as well. It can go either way. I think TA is a good way of just playing Memento. Right, you've got a lot of tempo coming out with Darkseer Enigma, you've got the TA, there's a lot of push that can come out for OG, so I think this is just them doubling down on that, going for the objective play, looking to shrink the map fast, playing aggressive with Clockwork and Darkseer, and having this TA join in early. I do have concerns for the late game scaling from OG. Like, yes, the Wombo combo is great, you always have to worry about the Rubik in the back. I think that puts a lot of pressure on the Clockwork to find that target in the back line just to ensure you get a very smooth black hole here for your Enigma. I think you have to worry about Rubik and Beastmaster really to pull off that Wombo combo. The Vac Wall alone, probably not the most crazy thing to come out. I think if you land maybe a Midnight Pulse on top of that, it can feel pretty good. You cog up maybe 2 heroes, it starts to feel nice. But again, the scaling for 9Pandas is starting to look a little bit sharper outside of that massive teamfight OG can bring out. They have to play momentum here. So just looking what they can do perhaps on their safe lane or mid, depending on how hard they want to flex this TA, has to tie into this timing here.
Let's see these final banouts. One more to go. It's mid ban out here from OG's end. Obviously, still looking for a hero here for Kiyotaka. I certainly agree with your point as well. I do think 9Pandas is just looking much stronger with their draft at the moment. Mind you, with OG's draft, like you can kind of scale out of control pretty early on with the Enigma Templar Assassin and just kind of run down the towers very, very quickly. But now with 9Pandas picking up this Lesh, you have a really nice TA counter. Obviously, the Enigma Eidolons and the Enigma not going to enjoy this too much. I mean, nobody on the side of OG with their draft really enjoys going up against this Leshrac pickup. So I think this is a brilliant pick from 9Pandas. And it really just puts the draft together now. Like, this is a very well-rounded draft from 9Pandas, I'd have to argue.
It certainly is. I like what I'm seeing coming out here. I agree with your points. You know, it's great deep push. It's a great way of managing that TA. It's another combination with the Oracle that can feel pretty damn good for the Lesh. False Promise with your Bloodstone. You're not going to run out of mana. You're not going to die. It's going to be very hard to look for the burst damage coming out here for OG to pierce through that False Promise. I think either target, Jug or Lesh, is going to feel pretty oppressive to try to really look to fully dish out the damage to. Maybe the Jug's a little bit more manageable before level 20, and OG closes out with a Void Spirit, so they will run that TA on the safe more than likely. Void Spirit down the mid, matchup against Lesh is not too bad. Niragi will take that TA. Overall, with his closer in the draft, I like what the Void Spirit does for OG's draft. It's more tempo. It's very quick to join these fights. You know, you're going to be running around with that Clockwork, with the Darkseer. You have another great Iron Shell target. You have another hero to pick off the backline. But I feel like 9Pandas, if they manage to play the game that we know they love to play, you know, fall back, let Ramses farm up. Once this Jug hits like early Battle Fury and maybe a Manta, as we I'm trying to recall. Ramses has also done a Battle Fury Butterfly Rush if his game is good. Either one of those item timings, and the game drags on to his level 20 mark, and to even his 25, it starts to feel pretty oppressive playing into like the Jug Lushrak towards the late game. So OG really have to lean into that really quick pace here. They have strong lanes, they have really good push tempo, they have to play around that.
Yeah, I think the Void Spirit allows them to get quite aggressive. Obviously with the TA, you're looking for the Deso timing into maybe a Roshan, get the BKB Blink up, and you're ready to just get going pretty much off the back of those 3 core items. Obviously 9Pandas looking to farm maybe a little bit longer with their Jug, but I still think they're going to be able to put a very nice tempo on the game. Like with this Beastmaster Leshrac combination, it should be more than enough to find those early tier 1 towers and just kind of start taking map control from there. So John, do we both kind of agree that I think we're kind of both erring to the side of 9Pandas draft going into this game 1, but it could work either way. I can't say definitively that they're going to just win out the game, because I think 9Pandas, or rather OG's draft, has its own really great strengths, but I'd imagine you agree 9Pandas have maybe a bit of an upper hand.
Yeah, I'd lean into 9Pandas a little bit more. I think it's a lot harder for OG to play into this. They really have to win out early game. Laning phase in particular is where their lineup has to kind of crush it. Like, you've got the Clockwork plus Darkseer combination. You've got the Enigma plus your TA. These heroes, you know, your supports in particular really need to win out.
Bottom lane, they're going already. Fortune's End is going to fly out. It will land onto the Void Spirit that gets things started, but BZM, no, he's going to cop a stun. Ramsey's not going for the spin, however, so BZM is going to be able to walk away. Ramsey did have the level 1 spin, but just wasn't feeling it, as now Tiger's going to move forward. Onto Miero with the battery assault, but in comes Ramses with a 3-man spin, but he's dropping rather low. They'll land a 3-man stun from Kiyotaka. Yuragi is not out of danger yet either. He will drop. They will get Miero, but now BZM going to drop to be the 3rd, as TM and Seb are not safe yet. They'll try to juke out the Split Earth. It's not going to matter. Seb is gone. Is that 4 heroes down for OG?
Yeah, just 4 gone like that.
Me.
1 trade coming out, at the very least. You managed to get Miero, but it doesn't matter. All of that EXP going to the Leshrac mid, a lot of AoE gold coming out, Ramsey starting off with extra, and Ramsey started off really greedy as well. 3 branches, a Blades of Attack, no tangos at all, just coming in with damage and stats, and it pays off. And he managed to he'll get topped up by his support, and you've got the best start you could ask for from 9Pandas, and we were just talking about this. OG, you can't afford to give anything like that away. They've got to find a way to take it back. At the very least, it's not going to be an overwhelming sport, but it does set a very good tone here for 9Pandas to kick things off with.
Yeah, well, what a crazy start to the game. Ramsey's on, at the very least, in fact, hold that thought, because bot lane, bit of action already. Antares trying to run. Yuragi should have enough, but not quite. Tiger will go for a chase, but will give up on it. Seems like the Wild Axis stacks were starting to get quite painful here from Miero. In fact, it looks like he wants to keep going. More axes out, but Yuragi looks like he's going to be just fine for now. Tiger going to try and get a little bit aggressive here towards Miero while he can. But this bottom lane's already looking very, very challenging here as Antares and Miero, understanding the advantage they have right now in the harass game, they're just going to keep going until they basically run out of mana here for Miero. But it seems like he's going to have a very nice Vanguard timing on the Beastmaster, which should mean a very good lane as they're going to jump in. Great lift out from Antares. Yuragi not going to go down as Tiger will protect. But now Tiger may have given his own life away for this. But Miero, no, he's not going to bother. Has the Wild Axes, just doesn't want to waste his time. We'll go for the Creep Wave instead. And Tiger, sticking around, will pop the stick charges to be able to survive through this. But this is very detrimental to OG. Like, being this low in HP is not going to allow you to farm very freely, that's for sure.
No, it's not going to be a great time for Yuragi having to go for the Refraction in lane as well. And they're doing a good job. Tiger's just cutting off this aggression that they want to pump out onto Yuragi, but...
Oh, Antares. You don't want to die right now, Antares. You're having such a good lane. He lifts up the TA at least, and they do find Tiger. Yuragi unable to get a trade for themselves. And I was going to say, if Yuragi actually took out the Rubik, that would have just felt so bad for 9Pandas considering the start they had to this lane. But they make it work.
And they make it work. That is one thing about these kill streaks early on. You don't want to bleed them out. They can look to the other lanes while we still have the chance. Ramsey's up top in the Jug with solo on the Oracle. they're doing pretty damn well here. And you are actually running Seb on the Enigma up top with DM on that Darkseer. So you're not getting the front-line Iron Shell combination you want. To be fair, up against a Jug, you probably won't find the best of results chasing out, especially with the Oracle around. They're doing their best to cut off, but this is not impacting Ramsey's farm at all. Like, the Jug doesn't mind playing into this.
You're talking about Ramses. Okay, we're going to try and get a little bit aggressive there. The Ramses had the spin. Instead, they'll go on to DM. Fortune's End is going to land. DM does have the Surge available, though, so it's going to be just fine. One of the important things to note when you're playing Darkseer into Oracle, of course, the Fortune's End will purge off your Surge. So you've always got to hold it. Just wait for the Fortune's End to come out first, and then go for the Surge after. As mid lane, Kiyotaka looks like he'd really enjoy a Surge right now. In fact, he's the one going back in. Onto BZM. But BZM will have an Aether Remnant in 2 seconds. So Kiyotaka needs to be careful not to get sniped here. That is a level 2. It will not connect. Kiyotaka gonna juke it out. Waste the mana of BZM as Seb, in the meantime, is gonna go up. Or rather go down top lane is what I was meant to say. So they do find another kill against OG.
Yeah. It's a nice pick off to find. And Ramsey's not really being pressured too hard in lane. And has the backup of his Oracle, basically a farming lane up top, which is not what you necessarily want to see from your Darkseer. Especially as level 4 is up with level 2 Iron Shell. You just don't have a good combination to play with the shell. They do manage to rotate Seb mid to refill a bottle, but can't really chase down. No refill, in fact.
Yeah, did he not refill? BZM? No. Oh boy, BZM's gone. Antares, very nice rotation of the Rubik. Meanwhile, though, Miero does go down. So you rotate your Rubik, but Yuragi and Tiger immediately punish the Beastmaster for that, which is certainly looking like a semi-decent trade for OG. Like, yes, you lose your mid-Void Spirit, but right now it feels like desperate times for OG, even at the start of this game.
Certainly does feel that way. It's a pretty big kill to find onto Miero. I'd argue losing the Void Spirit's still bigger. That means a faster 6 timing coming out for Kiyotaka, on top of those kills early on for the Rune. So you're gonna see an early spike coming out here for the Leshrac, and your Void Spirit's gonna be stalled out a little bit. You still have decent farm coming out here for your Void Spirit. You know, PCM still finding that build-up, has the Bracer, has level 5 now. But it doesn't feel like you have kill threat. I mean, you rotate in Seb. He doesn't even get to fill the bottle. What's he gonna do? Just has Malefice, doesn't have Midnight Pulse. Can't really do too much with the Eidolons either. Stuck at level 2. Seb is.
Miero. Bottom lane. A lot of damage being dealt onto the Beastmaster. Antada is going to show up again. Psyblade's flying out, but not going to be quite enough to secure the kill onto the Beast. So Miero going to be able to grab a Tango off their Rubik. Meanwhile, Seb, however, being chased down. Rotations incoming from our Rubik once again. Seb still trying to run, would at least get himself a bounty rune. He is being healed up by all this Purifying Flame damage, but ultimately in the end, Solo able to get it done. The Seb is still trying to fight from the grave with his children here at the top side of the map, but looks like they are not going to be able to get the job done.
No. He does at least manage to snipe that bounty rune. So the movement's not quite in vain, but again, you're kind of sacrificing kills. The support rotation's starting to feel a lot better from the side. 9Pandas. They have rune control as well, although Taiga does manage to spot out the Invis.
Just the emphasis here to make sure BZM has a good game. Right? Like, how many times have we seen the supports of OG rotating already to get these runes going for BZM? And obviously, based off the fact that he's already died twice, he kind of needs them right now. There's Tiger. He needs some help at the moment. Mid lane, he's going to get jumped. BZM, he'll try to make the jump in. Split Earth landed. BZM, gonna run. Will make it out, but they will not get Tiger out of it. The Clockwork is gone. It's 9Pandas. They'll go for a little bit more, it seems. Let's clear out the Eidolons that were made by Seb. OG, no matter how many times they bring 2 supports in, like, you've got a Clockwork Enigma support duo, so there's, like, with the Enigma coming in, I don't feel like there's much Seb can offer to his team at the moment.
Oh. Again, he's just way too low level. Has Malefice stuck at 1, has level 2 Demonic Conversion, which again, not gonna do too much in rotations.
They may find Solo though. Solo. No, he's gonna make it. That Kiyotaka's the one to move back in now, finding BZM, and he's out of step charges. Oh, BZM! He has no step charges! Oh boy, he does get a nice Aether Remnant though. And Kiyotaka ran out of mana. So he gets kinda lucky in that sense with the mana not being there for Kiyotaka. But OG again trying their absolute darndest to find some kills in the mid lane, but just not able to get it.
what this game is boiling to now is really just how much are you getting on your safe lanes with all this attention on mid. Ramses ramping up towards that Battle Fury. You've got pretty much free farm coming out here for Yuragi as well on that TA. I think this works out. They're trying to snipe some of these stacks here. Yuragi can try to clear out.
OG doing a good job here, just taking the stacks away from this iron triangle. Miero is going to show up though, does take a few of those himself. A Seb top lane, barely surviving to the spin of Ramses. Back towards the mid lane, Arcane Rune's going to get denied off by Kiyotaka. So he was not able to pick it up himself thanks to the Aether Remnant placement of BZM, so just gets rid of it before the Void Spirit does grab it. Seb's doing his absolute best to keep this top lane defended in the meantime. Solo and Ramses has been trying to get rather aggressive towards the Enigma. Seems like they won't be able to go after the tier 1 tower damage for now as Solo. Going to be chased by Seb, but will be fine to get himself out.
And a solid start coming out from 9Pandas. OG doing the best they can with the space, and this is a lot of free space for Yuragi. You're getting decent build up on your TA. You're also getting decent ramp up from DM, who is just playing a farm game, is at level 7 now, has the Vanguard up. They can start building some of that durability coming out here with the Darkseer. For the side of OG, what we have to see coming out from them is some sort of push coming out soon. You know, it still doesn't feel comfy in trying to take this game slow. With Ramses, again, just rushing into this Battle Fury with no problems at all, no contention in lane. With this Ags being built up now by Miero, skipping the Vanguard on the Beastmaster, just opting for that forward presence in fights. 9Pandas are ramping up for good tempo here. Yuragi again, though, sniping more stacks out.
Yeah, Yuragi's doing a great job of just constantly stealing farm away from 9Pandas. It is off the back of Tiger, who's been scouting all these stacks out. So I can't give the full credit to the TA, because Tiger has been doing a really good job of just roaming on the clockwork and finding all these stacks for his team. But Yuragi, every chance he gets, he will try to steal those away as the TA. And that's something very important for Yuragi to do in this game, because he knows his team is behind. So the game is kind of reliant on him having a very, very strong performance. As mid lane, Kiyotaka gonna try and run away from BZM. He does have the Iron Shoals available right now. It's a lot of damage. Kiyotaka, though, with the Surge still running, still alive. BZM, he's the one who might go down. But no, he barely gets Kiyotaka. Whew, that was close. Though Antares at least finding the mega kill for himself. But now Tiger's gonna catch it. And that should be Antares going down. Props to the Rubik John, almost saving the life of Kiyotaka, but just not enough in the end.
Not quite enough. Very happy with these kills coming out from OG. You take away the kill streak on Antares, you start to punish this really confident Leshrac without any sort of protection on him just yet, going for the Yules first here. Without something like, say, his sustain from Bloodstone, it doesn't feel like you can really commit that hard into all of the damage now coming out from OG. OG, for their part, looking for a bit of a smoke play here.
They're going to try back into that dire triangle. Miero, he was going for the stacks with the Wild Axis and he has been caught. Great presence of mind from OG. You know the Beastmaster, as soon as he leaves the lane, he's going for those stacks. And OG will punish immediately. Thing is though, can they defend this mid-tier 1 tower? That's the question.
Yeah. Being shoved in quite hard from 9Pandas. They don't have the Edict, so it's not a full push coming out, and you managed to give a freebie coming out here for Ramses as well, using that Omni onto Seb. They're prioritizing giving a good start off to Yuragi. They're starting to punish Miero for it, but it does feel like you're giving Ramses quite a fair bit of space here. Space that you really don't want to see him get.
Oh, Tiger, he's going to hookshot in. 9Pandas, they're bringing the bodies in though to try and fight, but maybe they're just going to back out of here. Let Solo die. Problem is though, those stacks are going to be taken by OG. They're giving up their mid-tier 1 tower for these stacks, but they may as well right now. Zantares might go down. They'll make the jump in, and the Rubik, he's underneath the tier 2 tower now. He might just be able to make it out, and it seems like he will. But OG, they are only interested in the stacks to be taken, and that they will. Yuragi, he basically gets all of them.
You're doing such a great job on OG and just taking these map objectives away, these resources away from the side of 9Pandas, and it's really punishing Miero. Like this skipping of the Vanguard's just causing him to be so squishy up against Yuragi's damage output. And this is him without the Desolator and the TA. So Yuragi's just able to rip right through Miero without any protection at all. No additional armor, no damage block coming in. And they're abusing that quite well on OG. for 9Pandas. I mean, again, the big benefit here is the freest game I've seen ever for Ramses. Like, he has literally been ignored. Maybe the side of OG just doesn't recognize the importance of that.
Tiger's going to pounce away with the Tumblr's Toy. Meanwhile, DM, he's going to drop the wall into the hook shot of Tiger. They've locked down Miero. In comes BZM from the left side, catching up the Oracle out of the black hole. Seb, it's stolen Antares. Antares has got 2 of them. And that's why you don't pick Enigma into Rubik. That'll happen to you. It's OG, they've got to keep trying to fight this one out, but in comes Ramses. The big juggernaut. He's a big problem. Uragi, he's going to try and fight through this one. Ramses, he'll get locked in by the cogs. In fact, Uragi, he's found 2 of them. He's still going. Ramses, can he fight this one out? He'll pop the Omni. BZM's the one to take it, but no. He'll just assimilate away. And sadly for 9Pandas, even with that great black hole still from Antares, it's still a great fight for OG.
It's starting to ramp up here for OG. They win out the trades in that fight. They're starting to build up massively on this TA. The Desolator's flying out for Uragi now, and he's been melting heroes without them. With this Deso up, again, you didn't go aura build on Miero. No early Crimson Guard, no early armor auras coming out. Just this Ags rush that's not quite materializing yet for Miero. Just presence on the Beastmaster isn't quite there. And they can play off the back of Uragi so damn well. This information that Tiger's giving them, this constant movement into that triangle. The fact that they had to drag in Ramses at last to show up, to try to make something happen, but he only has Phase Boots Battle Fury. Like, sure, it's still a really good timing on the jug, but it's not enough for him to start playing.
BZM? Aggressive jump. Ramses was the target. He just wanted the bounty rune in the end, it seems. BZM perhaps not expecting the junk to just be standing there. Had they had the vision, though, BZM did have a double damage rune bottled up, so he may have gone for that. Nonetheless, will not be able to this time. Instead, they'll focus down the top tier 1 tower. John, I'm going to give props to OG, and again, considering the way the game started and the laning stage went, they are doing a really damn good job of setting a pacing this game. Uragi's getting a little bit out of control in the net worth department, and with 9Pandas, they're the ones that are slowly falling behind.
The big reason for that, I feel like, is really just down to the presence we have in the offlanes as they go forward.
Tiger. Yeah, Tiger's got a nice hook, and Antares will not be able to escape. Great setup here from Tiger.
This is all boiling down to what the offlaners are doing, right? DM showing up, he's got the mech, he's got the Vanguard, he's going into an early Guardian Greaves coming out. He can sustain his team through this damage. Whereas Miero's playing this farm game. You know, he's waiting for that full Ags. Without the Ags, he's not going to do much. Even with the Ags, I think he's going to be too squishy. The front line for his team until at least a Vanguard or maybe some sort of armor comes out for him. He's just going to melt to Uragi.
This is a big deal, John. Look at this. Roshan started. The 9Pandas, they should know this might be happening. Look, as soon as the Deso's up, Uragi will go for this every time. And 9Pandas, sadly, have not reacted. Which is a bit of a miss, I think. They'll finally address the top lane. It should have been somewhat of an obvious Roshan attempt, considering how far they pushed the top lane out before they went for the Roshan. But 9Pandas, they do not react. Maybe just thinking to themselves they aren't feeling strong enough to go into OG at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big take for the side of OG. And be very happy having those 2 lives ready on Uragi. You have no easy answers to the TA right now. Unless you can somehow sustain up front here for Kiyotaka. He's your burn for that shield, but doesn't feel like he's durable enough yet. And went for the Kaya with the ults, went for the Sontrate after, into the Bloodstone afterwards. Perhaps with the Bloodstone time you start to feel more confident, but you're losing your top. Uragi's just pushing in, and with that full Deso up, and nothing stops his TA. And it just boils down to pretty much what the offlaners are doing here. Miero was just trying to farm out bot, while Ramses was farming top, and DM, sure he farmed a bit, but he shows up with fighting items. Goes for the wall plays, goes for these big team fights, and makes it work for OG, sets up these plays for them. And right now, Miero is just... Well, he's got the Ags, he's going into the Crimson Guard now. I mean, if he was going to go with Crimson Guard anyway, arguably the Vanguard first would have been a lot better this game.
Yeah. It certainly just felt like that way, but Miero, seeing the value on the Ags, does go for it, and... Well, for now, we aren't seeing the value out of the Drums of Slom yet, but maybe in the near future we'll see some big value coming as Tiger gonna find Ramses. The Jug gonna be caught, does pop the Omni. DM, he'll try to share it. Both of them surviving with the Guardian Greaves as Ramses gonna try and TP out, will be just fine. They already used the hook shot. No chance of stopping that spin TP. Santanes, though, in the meantime, look at that damage. Yuragi, he does take refraction at least, so he's surviving a little bit longer, but they should have their way with him. BZM going for the 8th remnant, but no, it's not going to land. Wow, what a steal from Antares. He takes the perfect spell away from Yuragi to survive that situation.
He tanks that gank really well for the team. Considering that 9Pandas are playing up against the Aegis, the fact that they're taking such aggressive positions and not being fully punished for it is a pretty good sign. Aegis still has a lot of duration here on Yuragi. They still have to go through that mid-tier 1. There's still some more map space for OG to take before they can really start to hammer it in on 9Pandas. But look at the wards they've gotten down by. Really good aggressive wards, giving forward vision here for OG to keep playing around this tempo that they have right now.
Mid lane, OG, they're feeling it now. Hookshot in. They found Antares. They want the Rubik down. He's surviving for now. The chase is on, but no, the Rubik's going to make it. Tiger now the one in danger, as he does get caught. Meanwhile, towards the left side, though, they've lost Kiyotaka. Oh, you'll take that trade any day of the week for OG. They took the mid-Leshrac for a clockwork.
It's massive.
The whole 9Pandas, they just forgot Kiyotaka got caught.
They don't respect this forward vision from OG. They don't expect that ward.
Roar out for what? 8th Remnant is there on Miero. DM still moving in, drops the wall and just backs his way out of it. Meanwhile, Yuragi, he'll see Solo, but the Ghost Scepter's going to buy a bit more time for the Oracle to survive. The OG still looking to fight. Keep in mind, John, they do have the Black Hole still up here for Seb. So you've always got to be worried about that from the Enigma's end of things. Not that he has a blink or anything like that, but just that kind of spell usage is available if he does see the angle for it. Instead, though, now for OG, they just want the tier 2 mid tower, but they'll see the respawns coming from Kiyotaka, and that's going to be enough to force OG back. But they have done a lot of damage. In fact, never mind going back. They're right back in onto Ramses. Ramses, for now, going to survive. Kiyotaka getting jumped, but is going to be okay, as well as Yuragi going to try and jump in on the Leshrac. Doesn't have the damage yet, but they'll jump in again. Kiyotaka, now the black hole. Seb, he has caught out 2 of them. He saw Antares still he knew he couldn't steal the black hole. And they'll take Antares' life while they're out of this OG. Just diving the tier 3 tower already. Going after Solo. Going after Ramses. They are trying to fight in their own base, but it's not looking good for them. They do not have a way of dealing with the TA. As Solo gets taken down. And OG. This is more like the OG I know, John. This is more like the OG I know.
All their movement has been on point outside of that, and really unfortunate set of coincidences before the game actually started, but they've ramped up since. Yeah, at this point, those kills for 9Pandas, those kills that looked like should have set some good tempo, washes away, and it just boils down to the fact that OG are playing around their vision really well with the clockwork. They're playing around their sustain with DM's build up here on the Dark Series very well, and they understood the power spike Yuragi hits on this TA.
Miero's got to be careful in this position. He does have his team in the dire triangle, to be fair. Ramses is going to show up with Solo. Tiger is around, just kind of taunting them at the moment with the clockwork. Kiyotaka going to move in. Yule Scepter out. Tiger was waiting for the tumblers, still gets the 4-star in the nick of time, so he's on the low ground. The chase is on. They really want the clock. Tiger, he'll hook shot into the Leshrac, and in comes Yuragi. Kiyotaka, he is just going to melt. Oh, Solo did not have the false promise up. It was 10 seconds away. Meanwhile, Yuragi, though, he gets Hurricane down to the low ground. The neutral creeps won't leave him alone. Yuragi has to jump back in. Antares still getting caught, though, is going to drop. And so will Solo. Zmiero, he's going to try to run. We'll go for the roar out onto the clockwork, but Tiger's just not dying. Ramses, it might be time to call it. I'm not going to lie here, John. This is a pretty one-sided affair from OG now. As Ramses trying his best to get back towards his fountain. BZM, leave him alone. Leave him alone, BZM. He's had enough.
They're just toying with him right now, OG. Running him down. They know there's no clear answer for Yuragi. Every single time they've managed to isolate Kiyotaka very nicely. The rest of 9Pandas running around, leaving back the Leshrac, especially in that mid-fight, and playing with the vision game perfectly here on the side of OG, and understanding these power spikes. And it just feels like this game can be boiled down to... it's not fair to really pin it in one player. I don't think this is entirely Miero's fault, but that decision to not go Vanguard first. Like, because he couldn't do anything, they just collapsed down bot, feed into Uragi, contest these stacks, knowing that Beastmaster has no presence, without any armor, any damage block on that hero with his kind of build-up. And then DM, sure, he's soloing up against Jug. He can't stop that farm coming out here on Ramses, but he gets his own early build-up into that mech, into that full Guardian Greaves, and he has presence. He joins his team, they play around his wombo combo, and 9Pandas, they're forced to play a really passive game now. You have this scaling potential still lined up for Ramses, but he's going to need a lot of farm. He's going to need at least this level 20, and they're probably looking for an Ags at some point as well. That's a lot of investment. There's not much space left for 9Pandas to farm here.
I mean, they might be going for a Hail Mary kind of smoke here in the mid lane, John. 9Pandas smoking up his 3. And, I made the call earlier that they maybe might want to call it just by how behind they are right now by 14k. They are still playing it up. Props to them. Mind you, Ramsey's going to show down to the bot lane. Could be in huge trouble. OG just read his movement perfectly. Oh boy. Yeah, even the black hole. Oh my goodness, Sim. Oh, there goes Ramses. 9Pandas, they're still moving in, trying to force the fight, but this just seems so desperate. It just seems way, way, way too desperate. It's 9Pandas now trying to retreat. Kiyotaka just jumping in, but ends up getting taken out. The solo's in trouble. Miero's going down. OG are just cleaning up. It's just so one-sided now. Zantadas, yeah, there you go. There's the GG. And maybe I was 2 minutes early, John, but I knew what I was talking about. They're gonna call it.
Yeah, no, you can't fault them. You can't fault 9Pandas, and we've seen them do this before, where in game 1 goes a little bit rough. They call it maybe earlier than you expect with so much on the line, but that game was just very rough. Again, just down to perhaps the decisions made in itemization there. The tempo that OG brings out, it started so damn good too. I mean, how could you not like a 1-4 start for a bounty rune? But just the execution. OG pulls ahead. They run this lane really nicely. Taiga was a force to be reckoned with, giving all this vision, and really the draft. They played to the strengths of their draft so well. With all the vision from the traps, from the flares, the great forward wards that you couldn't really find all of them here for the side of 9Pandas. You found one by the tier 2 on the right side, but not the one right between your tier 2, tier 3 on mid. And again, like OG, like that disciplined machine is showing up here, and 9Pandas playing so greedy. Like again, Miero, he had the Ring of Health. He went into the eggs. He went for the point booster right after. And then just didn't go for Vanguard first. If he really wanted the eggs, I don't know. Like he could have just went Vanguard first, had some presence, contested those stacks better, but everything just lined up for OG. All those stacks just paid off.
Yeah, and you're seeing the highlights here. Like, once those stacks were taken by Uragi, they get this small net worth advantage, and, well, this is a big black hole in the mid lane. Seb, as soon as he noticed the spell still was on cooldown, immediately pops the black hole, seeing the opportunity. And that's just the way to play Enigma versus Rubik, right? Like, unless you've got a BKB and a Lincoln Sphere up, you've got to play this way where you just wait for the spell still to be used, and that's exactly what Seb did, making it an impossible team fight for 9Pandas. And there you go, the GG call at 24 minutes was made by 9Pandas. And John, I know you're talking about the fact that we didn't get the Vanguard onto the Beastmaster, and that may have cost Miero quite a bit, and I do agree with you on that point. But if I take the positive route, Jonathan, if I take the positive road, I got to give props to Tiger. And we said this multiple times throughout the game, but just small plays like scouting out those stacks on the right side of the map and the diet triangle made all the difference, right? Like, they know the stacks were going to be made. It's a Beastmaster. That's just how the meta's worked for the past year. But he goes and scouts them out. He gains position. He places the wards. Calls over Uragi. Like, Uragi, there's a buffet in the diet triangle. Come on, son. Let's go clean up. And you find all the stacks from 9Pandas. It literally just messed them up. And it does go back to your point. If you had the Vanguard, maybe you could have stuck around and tanked through it and kind of taken the stacks yourself. But was not the case. Still, if I was to choose an MVP, I dare say Tiger just had that impact of getting the wards down and controlling that position of the map where all the farm and net worth was sitting for 9Pandas.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think he did a lot of work. I think as a team, OG just showed up individually, all tying in together, understanding their timings of each hero, playing around those strengths, allowing each hero to farm. Like, you were giving a lot of space for Uragi, but DM was also allowed to farm up for that mech timing. Once the mech was up, he joins in. Like, all of these movements coming out for OG were really strong as a team. And I think for 9Pandas, it looked way more disconnected. Right, again, Miero going for that build, Kiyotaka forced to go for the Ewolds. being cut off from his team when they're chasing off a clockwork, stuff like that. It felt a little bit more spread out for 9Pandas, and that's going to be a hard fix for the next game, but hopefully Solo can kind of rally his boys here.
We'll see, Jonathan. We are going to have to head off to a short break. Right after that break, we'll be back with Game 2 between OG and 9Pandas. We'll see you there.
حتاكل انت تشبع وانت مستمتع وتلاقي الوجبه جايه على الاصول. واو يجيك العيش هش طالع من الاوفن والدجاج يقرمش just the way I love it. وتسوي كده وتسوي كده وتسوي كده مع الحشمه وانت بغراب خفيفه جيب تويستر. انا تجيب لي وجبه الزنجر بس كله يجيب اكسترا تشيز على الكرانشي تشيكن في السنتر. حطلب باكيت حطلب زنجر حطلب مايتي حطلب تويستر. جيب له باكيت جيب له زنجر جيب له الاصلي جيب له تويستر. delicious yeah.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be going into Game 2's draft rather soon between OG and, of course, 9Pandas. And in case you weren't watching, OG pulling off their first game victory here today in 24 minutes, by the way, which is completely the opposite of what we were talking about after the drafting stage. Jonathan, I thought 9Pandas was going to be able to pull something like that off, but not the case. OG wakes up, 24 minutes in, they get the job done. I've got to ask you, John, before we head into Game 2, what the hell do 9Pandas need to change up?
They need to coordinate as a team a little bit better. I think it felt a lot more disconnected. I think the item builds weren't ideal, especially coming out there from Yarrow this time around, trying to rush the Ags, which, mind you, it's not a bad Ags game. There's a lot of stuff to feed off of with the Ags, with the Drums of Slam here, but as a rush item in that lane, after being left alone and dying solo a couple times, probably not the best bet. I think the movements mid overall benefited OG, despite a couple of deaths coming out there for BZM. I think overall, OG just had a better read as a team as to what they wanted to do that game, whereas for 9Pandas, they got those first 4 kills early on, the 1-for-4 trade in 9Pandas' favor, and it felt like they got a little bit complacent coming into the lanes. You know, like, initially the laning phase was pretty damn good. Yarrow's lane was actually pretty manageable, all things considered, for the Beastmaster, managing to space out, really force a lot of regen out onto Yuragi, but yeah, not really able to capitalize with the item build. So I'd like to see that change here for the side of 9Pandas. For OG, just keep playing the same game. You know, it looked really solid last time around. There were no major issues. Their warding was great. Their understanding of timing, their understanding of power spikes for each hero was really good, and tying into that, playing around those advantages was really strong. So I'm not seeing anything major for OG to change here.
Okay. Well, we'll get into it rather soon. It looks like we are going to be trying to start the draft here between OG and 9Pandas as of now, I believe. Hasn't worked out quite yet. But I do agree with the points you made. I mean, it did look like a bit of a coordination issue from 9Pandas going into that game too, so see if they can switch things up a little bit. Props to OG, though. Again, obviously very happy to pull off their first game win at the least. See if they can secure themselves a 2-0 victory here against 9Pandas, which is something I'm sure OG would love after the day they've had today. Because they do need some numbers on the board, Jonathan. They need a better scoreline than they've got right now, and so far so good. They're on their way. The thing is, after today, you haven't got that many games left to try and play to get through the play-ins into the group stage. So I believe OG after this series have won against Team Secret, which is on this stream actually. So I should remember what their series is next. Secret and OG coming up after this series on the B stream, and then I believe tomorrow they have one more series against Extreme Gaming. So I can't say any of the series they have coming up are easy. I feel like they can go any way, whichever team they go up against, but they do have 2 more series after this one. So probably pretty important for them to try and secure a 2-0 victory if they did want to kind of stay in the running to have themselves a chance at the group stages after tomorrow. But yeah. I suppose I could say the same thing for 9Pandas, to be absolutely fair, John. They'd love a draw right now, I'm sure. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, so far we've been lucky that we haven't been repeating what we've been seeing in Dream League 19, Dream League 20, all the majors, where it's a bunch of draws. So far not happening.
I can see you staring nervously at something, Jonathan. What are you...
I'm looking at finding server. I've done it again, Mike. I've accursedly done something to curse us here. I'm sorry, guys. You know, it's like I have a weak passport. I have no money. I can't connect to servers. You know, I can't have anything. It's fine.
I actually thought, because I alt-tabbed back to the game for a moment to see what was going on in the lobby, and I actually thought, because it does say finding server right now, and I actually thought to myself, well, hold on a minute, am I queuing? I thought I was queuing a game for a moment. I was like, wait, I selected what server? That's a bit far, isn't it? But yes, we are finding a server right now, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering why Game 2's draft isn't on the screen right now. We are looking for a server. The server's gone missing at the moment. We're using all our bitrate that we possibly can to connect to this server that apparently has gone completely and utterly missing. So there you go. 2 minutes in now, finding a server, excuse me. Not connecting.
Cancel?
We are finding.
Do we give up? Do we
no,
just
we're finding a server. We're in the queue, Jonathan. We're in the queue.
All right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're queuing.
Just
fine.
Just 8 more players, I guess, and we're in. We're in.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Don't forget to hit accept, of course. It does prompt you, Mike. Welcome back to second episode of John X Mike's podcast here in the Riyadh Masters once more. With 2 episodes in one day. What a blessing, Mike. After no episodes for 8 months. Outstanding.
Yeah. Now, you keep reminding me that we haven't had an episode. That is my fault, Jonathan. I apologize for getting the old ball and chain pregnant and having myself a life-changing,
It's all your
baby.
damn fault. Who said you could have a child with his career, Mike? Now, who said you could have a child with that career before? Now we're asking ourselves, what career?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where I am right now. I apologize for not asking for your permission first, Jonathan. The wife was more convincing than you were, sadly, at the time, so that's kind of what happened. Anyway, we are 3 minutes 10 seconds into finding a server now, so I'm sure we'll find one rather soon. John, can I tell you, by the way, I've got a bit of a gripe with my wife at the moment, because we have a delivery coming in yesterday. As the great husband I am, Jonathan, we needed a coffee table and a dining table set. Naturally, I went to the store with the wife and the baby, and the wife picked the most expensive possible dining table set she could find, and naturally, as the Giga Chad that I am, Jonathan, I took out the credit card while crying and paid for the damn thing. It's coming tomorrow as a delivery, 8:30 in the morning. For context, it's currently almost 2 a.m. in the morning for me here in Sydney, Australia. So 8:30 in the morning, this delivery is coming, which means that we're going to finish work. And then 2-3 hours later, this guy's going to come in with a dining table and a coffee table. Now, I said to her, considering she's asleep right now, I said, if you hear the door, a knock on the door, please go answer the door and just let the delivery man do his job, right? He's going to deliver the stuff into the house. She said to me that I need to wake up and do it myself. And I said to my wife, all you have to do is open the door. He'll do the rest. He'll bring the stuff. You don't need to lift anything. Just open the damn door. And she refuses for safety reasons, apparently, Jonathan. Apparently, it would be unsafe for me to not wake up because she's a woman with child. So the delivery man, I don't know who the delivery man is, Jonathan, but apparently I've got to wake up in the morning to make sure my family remains protected from this delivery man. There you go.
Oh, that's on you, Mike. You're the guy who got married. You know what you were going to get. This must have been in the playbook. Looking forward. Unless you're not a forward-looking person, like that's on you. What not here completely wholly unqualified to give any advice like that, but I have to say that's on you.
Right.
So don't forget, we're on for the first series as well tomorrow, Mikey. So
that's why I told her to answer the damn door, Jonathan, but she doesn't want to. She says safety issues. Well, what's that?
You should join the slot.
You know what, Jonathan? Maybe if you invited me to a party, I wouldn't have to be, looking for a password now.
No, you have to. Okay, so you have to cancel finding server.
Oh, well, I can't find the password for the damn lobby now, John. This is embarrassing. We're live on stream. I'm trying to keep talking, but I'm trying to look for a password at the same time.
Professionalism in 2023.
All right.
I've sent it to you.
There we go.
You're safe. Come in. Yeah, you're good now. You're in a safe space. We're in the lobby. We should be able to find server. All things hold equal. The server will be found. I've misplaced it. I forgot to chain it up, Mike. Someone's taking it away, but we're sending top people to find it. Can I?
Out of all people, you were the one who actually informed them that we're going to cancel looking for the server and we're going to remake lobby. So out of the admins, the players, everyone else, you stepped in and you said no more. Cancel the finding server. We're going to host a new lobby.
We should have to cancel because I figured maybe we're just sitting here.
Who the hell do you think you are, Jonathan? to tell these players and admins that they've got to cancel finding game. By the way, it has worked. We are into a draft. Game number 2 draft coming right on your screen right now.
Should have that draft soon. There we are.
You were close. You were close, production. We'll work on that. But going back to my point, who the hell do you think you are to tell OG and 9Pandas and the admins from the Riyadh Masters?
I was asking a question because we were sitting there for like 3 minutes at the search. I was like, at some point we must cancel, and they did all cancel early. They did jump into the lobby without us, so we were late. We should have asked earlier.
Okay.
You see? You know what the real Mission Possible is? With Mission Impossible being out and all, the real Mission Possible is getting that server chained up. Just always running away.
It certainly is. Well, we've got a game on our hands now. Bans coming out. Broodmother, Venno both being removed here from OG and 9Pandas and
5 seconds remaining.
See what else the old scallywags don't want here, Jonathan?
Dire team banned.
They'll get rid of the Undying, which is still proving to be one of the most potent, if not the most potent position 5 in the game right now. Ever since they changed the K spell animation, plus the addition to with Blood Grenade joining the game, this hero has been kind of ridiculous. So not too surprising to see Undying being banned practically every game.
Yeah, I think the big thing is post E patch, Undying wasn't really touched in comparison to Pugna getting some pretty severe nerfs. So it's probably the safest bet to ban out OG. Just go back into that Darkseer, which paid dividends for DM. Laning start might not have been the smoothest, but eventually just got enough space, farmed up, hit that timing, and is holding a very funky pose right now. And he disappeared.
Who was holding a funky pose, John?
The Darkseer was. Now he's just gone.
Oh, he is gone. Wow, but look at
It's
that,
on
Jonathan.
on my screen as well. Like this server, man.
Seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Mission Impossible. The IMF should get on this.
5 seconds.
Fix it up.
9Pandas. Look for their first pick. So you do still have heroes like the Beastmaster if you did what? Is the reserve time not moving now? Is the game paused? Is that what I'm saying? It's not paused. The game is not paused. This is not just the stream, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. This is actually happening.
I think I disconnected. All right.
Okay. Hold on. All right, go on. Switch it back over to us. Here we go. Podcast number 3 for today within the last 2 hours. Welcome back. It's the John X Mike podcast with MLP Joda and John X5. Jonathan, welcome back, sir. We're still having... I don't know, can we reconnect to the game? I'm not even sure anymore.
I can't.
Okay. All right.
I'd like to correct you here, MLP Dota. Your title card just says MLP. Who are you?
It does. It
Who are
does.
Are you MLP Dota? Are you Mike LaPhoenix?
Miguel
MLP?
Lorenzo Pineda, Jonathan. We've gone over this. You know my Filipino bloodline.
Yes.
Miguel Lorenzo Pineda. I would never forget my own name. That's what MLP stands for. What are we doing about this game, John? Do we know? Is there an update? Game 2 should be, I'm guessing, a new lobby. Do you want to instruct everyone on what to do now, Jonathan, considering you're the boss?
Well, if we had Nino as admin, I wouldn't mind doing that, but these are professionals, Mike. They know what they're doing. So I do not need to step in. Shout out to Dougie, who's out there somewhere, I'm sure, doing something important.
Love you, Dougie.
What can you do?
Yeah.
I am not sure what we're doing as well, by the way. Okay, so everyone's had the issue. All right, so we chill. All right, I'm not going to try to understand this, Mike. It's an impossible mission. It's a
Impossible mission.
Impossible mission.
Thank you, Sean Connery. We appreciate that.
Did you watch the new Mission Impossible? Did you watch the spectacle of watching a 60-year-old man doing stunts?
Yeah, you know what it is, John. Mission Impossible to me is like Fast and Furious. Like, I'm just so tired of it at this point. Like, what new stunt is Tom Cruise going to do this time? Oh, Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Oh, who cares?
It's not a fair comparison with Fast and Furious family, and it just goes up and up. I mean, at least in the Mission Impossible, it's a dude who does impossible missions. I slipped up again. Impossible missions. So it's supposed to get crazier, right? And he's 60 years old. He's jumping off cliffs for your entertainment, Mike. Appreciate it.
With all due respect, if you're paying me hundreds of millions of dollars for a 2-hour movie, John, I'll jump off a cliff or a plane too. I mean, really, just you give me the offer, I'll do the same thing. Tom Cruise is nothing special. You give anyone $100 million for a movie, I guarantee you they'd happily jump out of that plane. I guarantee it. Just send the money to my family's bank account. It doesn't matter if I survive. Not my problem if the movie doesn't happen. Send the money. I did the stunt. Easy.
This is the fodder in you speaking for your child, Mike. I love it.
It really is.
I love it. It's mildly unhinged, and I'm enjoying it, Mike.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we can safely leave this game at this point, I think, because we're looking to rehost, I believe, as there's perhaps a server outage where we're just playing we're getting past the 4th war, John. This takes me back to BTS Pro Series. I want to say that was the good old days where I just stopped caring about the whole 4th wall aspect of the whole production, and I just started telling people exactly what was happening, just for the. See, you feel like people appreciate just having the inside information as to what the hell is going on right now. It's nice, Jonathan. It's nice to be updated. There's no draft at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. In case you are looking for an update, we're currently looking to rehost the lobby because we're having server issues.
Yeah, It's a really cool copy pasta coming out in chat now as well.
What is it, John?
It's a funny one. You'll see it at some point.
Well,
This
I
is a
haven't
good
got.
one.
I'm a professional, Jonathan. I haven't got the Twitch open right now. I'll open
Well,
it up.
fortunately enough, Mike, I'm not a professional, so I can see.
Okay, let me
this
bring it
great
up.
Copy pasta.
Let me bring it up. Hold on a minute.
You can see.
I-
you can.
I miss the
I'm not
days.
sure.
I miss the days where you and I would. Oh, now I've got to listen to. What is it?
What? What?
Oh, I see it. Man, you can see John X5 has Can I read this out? It seems like he has cried all day yesterday. Can anyone check up on him? His close friends, perhaps. Copy pasted this to send the message. You'll be okay, bro. Life has.
That's a good
wrong,
one,
John?
That's a good one.
Well, why are your
Nothing's wrong.
eyes so
I just turned
puffy?
30. I'm just done. You know?
Yeah.
You hit 30. You suddenly realize you're done. You're done. You hit that point. I saw you with. I saw you live. We hit a. I believe it was a pro series when you hit 30 as well. So
Yeah.
very topical, very topical. And you know,
Well, I
speaking
mean-
of inside information, the one inside information no one will ever find out is who Tony Stark is in that infamous game a long time back. No one will ever know.
Uh-oh. Lobby's up, Jonathan. Is it the same password? Holy pog it is. There we go.
Yes.
They were waiting for me again as well. And I can't be blamed for that. At the end of the day, listen, these players can wait. I'm running the show at this point. I'm the play-by-play caster. I'm the boss here. These players for once get to wait for us. And I like that, Jonathan. I like the power that's been granted to me. Anyway, going back to our escapades in BTS Pro Series, it seems like everyone's decided to put some rather inappropriate emotes into the game lobby, Jonathan. The old DK, you know, buttocks.
BZM's just trying to lag out the chat for the emote
BZM, we
sandwiches
can't
there.
afford. We really can't afford the bitrate right now. BZM, can you stop spamming emotes? Those 50 kilobytes you're using up there, so we can't afford it right now. Just hold out. Give us a bit, BZM. Give us a chance.
What a night, Mikey. What a night, you know.
Yeah,
You
it's
step
only
in.
just started.
I feel like our pause time collectively now has been longer than our first game.
It has. I mean, it's probably literally triple the amount of time that we've actually had a game so far, which is, yeah, because we started at midnight my time. It's been 2 hours since then. We've been live for 24 minutes into games. So there you go, about an hour and a half of podcasting, Jonathan, which is what you get for complaining that it's been 8 months since a new dad has done a podcast. But there you go. Now we've had our opportunity to get it out there.
Yeah, it's good.
Which is-
this is what we need. You know, Mike?
Wholly ironic, by the way, because every time we do a podcast, it takes you like 2-3 months to upload it onto YouTube, which by that point we've lost.
Upload it every single time after. Well, like usually a day after, actually, but I upload it on time. No, well,
Make me go back through my messages.
Before
Alright?
it's slower.
Yeah,
For the most part, it's like within the 2-3 days, usually,
you've been doing a
depending.
good job.
Yes, thank you, Mike. I know I've been doing a good job. I need your empty praise, but thank you. I appreciate it. Even though you
You're
don't mean
welcome.
it as well.
I don't,
Yes,
but
you
you're
don't.
welcome. Update for the lovely people still watching us talk absolute garbage. We are going to be trying a new server very, very soon. That's the update. Apart from that, though, back to us. John, going back to those BTS Pro Series days, you were right. I did turn 30 while we were casting BTS Pro Series one day. But that makes enough sense, because back then we were casting, 8 games a day throughout the group stages of Pro Series? Those were the days. You remember those really slow metas? And every time we were onto our final series, you'd get like, what was it, Team 496 versus like some other slow team, and we just have the most, we'd get Jackie, that's right. Who was Jackie part of? Motivate Trust. So we'd get Motivate Trust versus 496, right? Jackie would choose last pick Arc Warden, and we'd have a 2-hour game each time on the last series of the day after already casting 6 games. That's how I turned 30 while casting BTS Pro Series. I'm going to blame this on Jackie. He just, every time he'd go Naga Siren, Arc Warden, all these garbage heroes in our last series, and it just used to make me sick.
Yeah,
How far he's come.
That's how far he's come. Well, he went far last year. I don't know about this year. Good old,
Was he
good old Boom. Good
was he
old
not part of the
Gary.
major?
Oh, well, he was there. And he
He was
went
at
home.
Bali. He did.
Yeah.
At least he got
Went
there,
home.
John.
At
At least he got there. You know,
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
teams
like,
didn't.
true. Like a team that's in groups right now. So
Who?
I guess they wish they were in Bali. Good old. What's their name again? It started with a T. I can't really spell, Mike. Something like T. What is this?
Well, they're getting to TI at least. I mean, you got to give props to that, right? Like, at least, there's one SCA team going. Is Execration qualified? I don't think they have they?
No, they were
Oh.
right below. Right below.
What does it matter anyway? What does
Yeah,
it
look,
matter?
last year we took the slot with Fnatic. It's only fair we swap it out now. Right? We kind of stole it away with Fnatic. So, swap the ruse.
New update.
It's only fair.
New update, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very good news. We've reached the minute and a half mark for finding this server. So that's very good news. We're only a minute and a half in so far in finding the server that still is yet to be located. In another minute and a half, we'll broken the previous record, assuming John doesn't want to ruin it for us this time around. So we're looking to break the record of how long it'll take to find this damn server before we can get Game 2 underway.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out.
I mean, this is... I might just add, by the way, this is really nobody's fault, right?
Yeah.
I know people are going to be like, oh, $15 million tournament, Omega LOL and all that crap. Listen, it's nobody's fault. Nobody's finding the server. I guarantee you if I queued the server right now, I probably wouldn't find a game either. So that's where we are right now. It's not an internet issue. It's none of that. I don't know what other... I thought you were going to say something, Jonathan, but apparently not. Apparently not. Let's head to a break, shall we? Let's head to a break, I think, Jonathan, because we are going to be waiting to see when this issue is going to be resolved. So it's MLP Dota Tronics 5. We're going to head to a short break, and once we're back from the break, there'll be a draft. We'll see you again very soon.
الحياة لحن، ولأننا جزء من مقطوعة عظيمة تحركنا، تلمسنا، تصنع من لحظاتنا ذكريات بديعة. لأن الوجبة، التجربة، المغامرة يعطيك بعد جديد في هيلتون الرياض.
All new Honor Magic 5 Pro. Freeze even fleeting emotions in just milliseconds. Take marvelous night shots with lightning-fast exposure. The display reveals more details in bright areas with an astonishingly long battery life that just keeps going. The latest flagship chipset brings you exceptional performance. Unleash the power of magic. Honor Magic 5.
still. If I had a say where I'd run to, where I would lay, if time bent to my will, if I could decide where I should remain, where I would hide. Sure as the sun, come rain or shine, I know where I belong. If time were to stand still, if I had a say where I'd run to, where I would lay, if time bent to my will, if I could decide where I should remain, where I would hide. If time were to stand still, sure as the sun, come rain or shine, I know where I belong. Sure as the sun, come rain or shine, I know where I
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, the John X Fired podcast, John X Mike podcast. My God, it is MLP Dota and John X Fired. For the record, before we do start the podcast, there is no game, right? We John and I just decided we're going to be the only stream for the Riyadh Masters 2023 that has anyone talking. So we're going to be the only ones. Everyone's just going to come to the B stream. Forget about the rest of them. I mean, all the streams go up to what? F? Who cares? Forget them. B stream. Get over here.
This is where the fun's at, Mike. The most fun, because it's the John X Mike podcast that we've stalled out so many long times. We've had a lot of lobby chatter, a lot of good insights, but again, no one will ever find out who Tony Stark is. The most well-kept secret in the world. Let me tell you, there have been developments while we were away, Mike. There have been developments, right? Like Carlo gone, Abeng in, once more. Master Abeng with the foresight to save himself for Riyadh. Absolutely outstanding play. You've had, good old Abeng just sneaking in right when the big one's up. So let me in, boss. He's in there. You've got Gavi on Entity.
You do.
How'd you react to that one? I was like, whoa, that's a cool one.
Yeah, the Gabby's an Entity. That was something I was not expecting, to say the least. But it looks like he's actually fitting in quite well so far, John. Because I believe they were first place in their group right now, Group A. They're sitting at 1-1-0, so they actually haven't lost the series yet. Before we do go on, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any update, I promise you'll be the first ones to find out. Because I'll tell you if there is an update as to what we're doing. But right now there is no update. We're literally the only stream with casters talking, I believe. If you are sitting in Twitch chat enjoying this lovely podcast episode this evening, feel free to talk to us, because we are watching and we'll interact. In fact, I believe there's hardly any delay on this stream, so happy days, Jonathan. We don't have to wait for a 5-minute delay to catch up with the Twitch chat. We can talk to you guys directly right here and now. So have a chat with us losers, because nobody wants to talk to us. So we go to LANs, nobody knows who we are. No. Anyone that does recognize who I am in particular just calls me John every time, without an absolute doubt. It's a lonely time. We'd love to talk to you. Please.
Yeah. It's been very lonely. I turned 30 and... Well, Mike, I know how you cope with it. I know how you cope with turning 30, Mike. That sounded too real. A little bit too real, maybe.
And for the people asking what's happening, there's server issues. That's what's happening. None of the servers will work. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the server we're looking for is not working. So we're waiting for a resolution regarding that. That's pretty much as far as it goes. Jonathan, you've had a bit of time off after the Bali Major. Tell me, what have you been up to? I mean, I haven't gotten to speak to you whatsoever. Do you want to tell me about yourself, John? What's happened?
What have I done? I think at one point I played 20 turbo games in a day. I've been playing that. I've played... Okay, I had some funny stories. I was playing a certain shooter. Right?
I could have sworn you just said Val, and I got a little bit upset, Jonathan. Were you saying Valkyrie? Were you watching Valkyrie or something?
No. I played
Valhalla.
I played... Because I play CS with my friends, but when it's solo...
Don't say the name.
When it's solo, I play the other game.
You played another shooter. Okay.
Yes.
If you can call it a shooter. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I actually really don't like the game. But it's because I go into CS, it's so sweaty. Right? It's so sweaty. I play the other game because it's easier. It's so easy. And it was so sad when I realized I was actually getting queued into literal children. Like the youth of today. Because every time I use my voice chat, they ask me, "Are you a dad?" And I just don't know how to react. I'm like, why? Like a...
do. Yeah, you do.
How do I sound like a dad?
Because you get upset over, like, anything. I feel like you sound... If you jumped onto the mic and someone messed up, you just sound disappointed. That's what I feel. I feel like you're just like, oh, guys, it's okay. Yeah, we'll get him next round. But inside, it's not going to happen. You've lost the game. And I think that's how you sound like a bit of a dad, John. What is it? Have you got an update?
No, they've lagged the lobby out with a lot of spam now,
BZM! BZM, stop! Update right now, ladies and gentlemen, is BZM's trying to make things even worse by spamming the lobby chat. So there you go. I'm not going to repeat what he's saying in there, but he's saying something. No idea. Yeah,
I have
so
no
something's
clue.
being said by BZM here,
Yes.
and it seems like he's got everyone started now, which is great. I can't even blame BZM in his own, because now literally everyone in the lobby started, apart from us. But we might get started rather soon. In fact, there's John. There's John
Yeah, I was
typing
just
now
telling
as
them
well.
slash clear. All right, let's go
Let
through
me-
chat. There's been a couple of pings, Mikey.
Well, let
There's been
me
a
let
couple
me
of
let me
pings.
upset the one dude that
right.
that asked me best AFL team versus worst AFL team. I'm gonna upset you. I know you're from Melbourne. I don't watch AFL. I'm from Sydney. I watch rugby league. All right. I'm not gonna insult the guy, John. He asked me a question when I asked for a question. Listen, I don't watch AFL. The answer is Sydney Swans. That's the best team. The Swannies. Is that what they're still called? I think that's what they're still. I don't watch the damn game, Jonathan. Right? I watch rugby league. I'm not going to make an insult because I feel bad for the guy just asked me a question. Clearly Australian. Good on him. Right? I just don't watch AFL.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Someone asked me.
Why can't I
when's the
hear you?
last... I'm
Is it me
not
or
sure.
you now? Did
I
you
could
mute
not
your
hear
mic?
you a while ago. No, I did not mute my mic.
No, you didn't mute your mic. So I
No,
just can't hear
no.
you.
Yes.
No,
I couldn't hear
I
you a
think
while
you may
ago.
have messed up your mic here, John. You might need to reconnect the Discord. Hello?
Hello?
Oh,
hello?
no, Jonathan. Now your mic's not working.
What?
It's
But
not working, John.
Oh, great. How can
I'm
we have
trying to
this
lip read what you're
podcast?
saying right now. This is not, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a skit. I cannot
You
hear what John
disconnect
XY
and
is saying.
reconnect.
It's
do
my
it.
side.
Try it.
Is it my
try.
side?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, what
try
are you
it, try
talking
in and
about?
out.
Why are you playing charades? Send me a message on Discord, you moron. What are you doing? Oh. And who are they hearing? Are they hearing me or him?
I don't.
Try.
I don't.
Oh, it's me.
I don't know.
Is it me? Hold on a
Yeah,
minute.
try. Give it. This is a new experience, guys. The new experience.
Hold on, I'm coming. Oh.
I don't know if VMix is still getting me, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me on the other side. Hello, Mike. Can you hear me? I hear you. I hear you, Mikey. But I can hear you. I can. We're doing very good. Yes. Yeah. Doesn't look like. It doesn't look like. Okay. Oh. Hello. Do you hear me? Okay. This is going great. This is exactly how it is. uh this is amazing. Oh. Wow. You can hear me again, Mike? Can you hear? Can you? This is all you, Mike. This is all you. You know, we found the culprit, guys. We found the imposter. The imposter is Michael Phoenix. They can't hear you, Mike. Yeah, you're a voice in my head. All right. Michael Phoenix is not coming back. No, he's coming back. That's exactly what he said in my ear. I have no idea what's going on anymore. What is that point? I sound like a dad. Okay, we've got a really good still frame of Michael Phoenix right now. Oh,
No,
God,
you don't.
you should have stayed disconnected
No,
longer.
you don't.
It was so good. Ah, I hate you, Michael Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm back. Thank you for that, Mr. Producer. Here we go. Oh, all right. We can both hear each other. The update, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, is we are trying to connect to a server right now. It is not up. There is no draft. This is. I realize you're all probably wondering why these idiot casters are on screen talking for absolutely no reason instead of going to a break. That's because we made the choice because we care. We care
Yes.
about you guys, and we know you guys like to, listen to good casters. We're not quite there yet, but we're trying, Jonathan. We're trying. It's good
No,
practice.
you got
for
that
us.
wrong. We know you guys love listening to good casters, so we're not even trying to cast. We're just talking. We know we're not.
That's true. very
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. There was a couple of pings I wanted to give mention before we went in because you invited chat in, so I'd like to keep that involvement here. Someone asked if the Philippines is a good holiday destination. I would say yes. This might get some flack. Don't go to Manila. Go to maybe Cebu. Go to the beaches. Don't bother with the city centers. It's a city. You've seen a city before if you're from a major city as well. To go somewhere a little bit off the beaten path. Someone asked for a shout out from my city. Shout out from Davao. There you go. And yeah, I have no idea what's happening. What's going on with you, Mike? How did you mess this up so bad?
What's that? The audio issue? I'm not sure. I'm reading back to the chat right now, trying to figure out. Apparently, I was the one muted the whole time, which is a real shame because I thought I was being hilarious while you were muted, but that was not the case. Sadly, apparently it was me the whole time, so that's rather disappointing. Oh, couldn't help but notice people said kick MLP, John Solo cast. I don't know if that person's ever heard you do play-by-play, Jonathan. I dare say it's not.
If they have, it was probably in Filipino as well. So, God bless you, man. If you have heard that, I'm not sure how you've survived unscathed. You're a true champion.
Yeah.
My idea of a Filipino cast is me talking the exact same way, but I throw one Tagalog word in. So it's a Taglish cast, so I'm safe with the requirements from my contractor. Like, oh, we want you to cast in Tagalog or Taglish. I'm like, all right, I can do Taglish. Literally one word. Isa lang, like that. It's one word. Every now and again. And I'm safe. I'm safe.
Thank you for that, John. Yeah.
You're welcome.
That is the worst part. These people, these tournament organizers literally pay you money to cast in Filipino and you don't do it. You cast in English.
Have you Okay, I swear to goodness, my Filipino is so bad. Like, if anyone here, if anyone watching is a Filipino and I start speaking Filipino, they will just instantly roll on the floor laughing. It's atrocious. I've had that reaction multiple times. I've been asked if I'm actually American. No one believes I'm Filipino.
You are American.
No one believes it. Oh, I guess now I am, but I don't have the passport, Mike.
Yeah.
So I don't get any of the benefits, Mike. I have the Filipino passport.
I'm convinced.
No, I can't go to Australia to watch IMAX.
I am convinced. If I brought my newborn on stream, I could convince people I'm Filipino faster than you could. I'm convinced of that. Just based on the way she looks. Based on the way she looks, I guarantee you people would believe I'm Filipino before they believe you are. Just based off the way I guarantee it.
Just based on sheer looks.
Yeah. Well, she can't talk yet, John, to be fair, so I can't prove it that way.
True. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I think it could work, Mike. You head down to the Philippines when the little one's growing up a little bit more, she'll be right in. She'll be right in, Mike.
Which is a compliment, by the way. I have a beautiful daughter for any Filipinos out there. This isn't some kind of...
No. We know we're good looking. Hold your horses, Mick. Phoenix. We know we look good.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, John. We're trying the game again. Update is we're trying the game another time, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying our absolute best here.
Yep.
It's not going to work. I can already tell. So there you go. We're back. We're back to the podcast here, ladies and gentlemen.
This truly is Pro Series. This is truly a Pro Series moment. I miss this.
I like it.
I don't know if this is more fun than a 20-minute pause in the game, but it's up there.
Wait, what?
What's up, Mike?
I just noticed there's a draft going on the other stream. I'm a bit upset about that. I'm not going to lie, Jonathan. How's there a draft going on and we don't have one yet? What's going on?
Well, that's the Michael Phoenix difference. That's the John X Mike difference, fortunately, because we are known to have a podcast. Gaben has given us a favor, and not much we can really do about it. It's a gift. It's a gift.
Well, I guess I'll expose us, Jonathan. If you did want to watch a game, I believe the F stream is the only one that has a game going on right now. So if you did want to watch some Dota and escape this prison that you're in right now, gamers8gg_F is where you want to go. Ironically enough, F is the one that's working, which is F's in chat. I don't know, John.
To pay respects for it working.
Yes.
No. Press F there. Go there right now. Press F. Pay respect that it's working.
Yeah.
Because it's respectable. It's commendable.
Thing is, though, you'd have to go watch TSM versus Entity, so there's that. But it's still, there's Dota going on.
It's Whitemon versus Gabby. What are you talking about?
It is too.
It's a Southeast Asian game, Michael Phoenix. How dare you? How dare you disrespect Southeast Asia?
You know me. I'm going to expose Gabby right now. I mean, he's in a game. He won't see this. You and I, we had an experience of seeing Gabby live in person once. What was it? Stockholm? ESL1 Stockholm, was it, Jonathan? ESL1 Malaysia, yes. It may have been.
Stockholm, I believe.
He ignored us. Yes. After all the times I've hyped up Gabby, you know, I basically made the guy's career. He ignored us, Jonathan. He acted like he didn't know who we were. He played it cool. Everyone else in the team, I can't remember who it was. I think it was TNC back then. Everyone else was talking to us. Tim's was so happy to see us. Master Cuckoo was there back in those days. And Gabby, he was too cool, John. He was too cool for us. He didn't say a word to us, didn't look at us. Just left. Yep. Disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah. But at least we got Whitemon and Zephyr, you know? And they thought both of us were John. And I'm pretty sure Zephyr was not joking as well. No, that's the sad thing. Kenny was not joking. No. Kenny was dead serious. He just did not know who we were. I've done media day with a guy for that DPC tour for 3 tours. He did not know that I was John and that you were Mike. He just thought we were both John to play it safe.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, good news is another update, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently there is a second game now going on. I don't know which game it is. I'm actually going to go through all the streams to be able to tell people which games are going on. Because I don't want to hog the viewers here, Jonathan. You know, they're here to watch some Dota. So let me find out. And it is, I believe, the E stream. So gamers8gg_E is where you can find another draft. DK Truman and Bowie, excuse me, are casting that one. And I believe it's Beast Coast vs Extreme, if I'm not incorrect in saying so, unless the stream title's out of date, which it potentially could be. But there is another game going on the E and the F stream. So there you go.
It's all starting to come together.
Yeah.
Again, it's the Michael Phoenix and the John X Fire difference for now. Unfortunately, too much fire. Mike, the servers can't handle all the fire. No. So we might have to consider a name change from the Phoenix, which in your case is rather unfortunate anyway.
Have you realized?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jonathan. Have you realized we're basically the panel right now? Like we're the main stage panel at this point. You realize that, right? If there was a panel today, it is you and I. Nobody else is they're casting games or there's just a break screen. You and I are the panel. We're directing people right now, Jonathan. Does that fill you with joy? The fact that you're saving a $15 million tournament right now? Does that make you happy?
I wouldn't exactly call this saving, Mike. The captain stays on the ship, but that doesn't mean the ship is rising. Unfortunately, we caused a crash here. We're the guys in the Titanic that drove it into the iceberg. But that's all said and done.
A bit soon to talk about the Titanic, John. It's a bit soon, all right. Let's take it easy.
It's been the Titanic specific. I'm not sure what this topical stuff you're trying to raise a point about. I was unaware of the news. You know, I enjoy not being aware. I live in my ignorance, Mike. That is my safe spot. You know, I stay ignorant.
Okay. With the mainstream, thank you to the Twitch chat. The mainstream is also up. So if you wanted to watch games there, Gamers8GG is also now available with a draft. So Quest Esports vs Team Secret. Can we talk about Quest for a second, John, while we're here? Yep. Everyone said, there was this big drama on Reddit, Twitter, whatever, with the whole ATF thing not being, that they didn't renew his contract in Quest Esports because they wanted a long-term contract, blah, blah, blah. ATF didn't want it because he was, I think he's stuck in a contract with Nigma, if I'm not incorrect. I don't want to put words into their mouths, but regardless, big drama regarding Quest Esports and ATF. Everyone said Quest was going to fail. I thought to myself, they're crazy, right? ATF didn't necessarily make this team a great team. I thought Quest, from what I saw, like just the players in general were already great. I think what ATF did is bring a spotlight to the team, right? Like when ATF joined, he's a big name right now. People love memeing about the guy. He's a great player, obviously. And then you kind of bring him to the team as Quest, and suddenly everyone realizes how strong the players on Quest are. Then ATF leaves, and everyone thinks, oh, now Quest is a trash team, but it's just not the case. Like the players on Quest are really damn strong at the moment, is what I'm trying to say, Jonathan. I think the ATF effect was that he literally put them in the spotlight. But I think Quest, with their own players, even just the 4-stack of Amar, Noob, and Kaori, and of course TA2000, I think this is a really strong stack. You know, I'm not saying ATF wasn't a loss when he left. All I'm saying is I don't think it's as big of a deal as people think it is.
I'd say that's fair. I think when Amar left, it did feel like it would be very hard to fill the shoes because it feels like, especially in Bali, I think the strange offlanes of Amar was a big factor for Quest as well. You know, stuff like a Slark offlane were a big thing that allowed him to play these drafts. But I can see both viewpoints, right? Like I can see the side that has watched Quest before they were Quest, going up from Div 2, having a solid placing in the second tour, but not enough to go to the majors. And I can see someone who just looks at that and they're like, all right, Amar comes in, they're suddenly top 3, and they can go to the major. You can kind of try to attribute that there as well. So I can see both sides, but I think it's just crazy to see, you know, even just looking at how they played as subs, again, just from that time they played for Liquid and Dream League 20. Yeah. Considering how well they did there, I think it would have been crazy to see that team crash just from individual skill. I think it's a team that's just highly individually skilled. Like all of these players are just insane. So it's hard to see them drop.
To answer the questions coming in as to what's going on with the game, OG versus 9Pandas Game 2 is going to be starting at some point, but we are still trying to get the game started. So it's an issue that's happening with literally every other stream right now, apart from the main stream, the E stream, and the F stream, which have been able to get their game started. So one by one, the games are starting, right? We're getting there. We gotta wait this one out. But if you did want to watch some Dota, Gamers8GG, Gamers8GG_E, and Gamers8GG_F are where you're gonna find some games right now. And if you wanted to torture your ears, come right to this stream. We're here.
You know, when you mentioned we were on panel, I kind of harkened back to being on panel for the CDPC, and I thought back to the times I was with Winter.
Yeah.
And I realized...
I'm sorry for that, John.
I realized I kind of miss it. You know, I kind of miss being with Winter. I kind of miss him telling me, oh, John, you know, everything you eat's unhealthy. Oh, John. Oh, Jonathan. I miss Winter. He's a great man. He says all of that, and then we go out for hot pot anyway. Like,
yeah, he's a funny lad. Obviously, for people that weren't aware, Winter, who recently did come back to the scene, Jonathan. Obviously, the goldfish business wasn't going the best currently with the economy in the world. So just unable to sell as much goldfish as he once did. So he's back into Dota, believe it or not. You know, whether he ever left is a different question entirely. But you know, TO's decided he was worth hiring again, which is great news for Winter.
Yeah. It's been fun having him on.
I can't say I know why, but he's back.
Yeah, I mean, this is a man who's been to many TIs, Mike, as an analyst. So
never won one.
You know, that's one thing I was thinking back to. You know, like we had these hot takes. I feel like I had some pretty good hot takes. I felt like I gave some pretty big hot takes that were not part of the hot take segment after the Talon game. That was pretty fun. You know, it's like I get to be closer to what you know me to be, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, on those panels, they let me be unhinged. I think that was enjoyable. You know, I miss being
unhinged. Yeah. Judging by two of the majors this year, John, I'm not sure if they had much of a choice. I'll be frank, Jonathan. It was a good CDPC. It was a good DPC. I'll give him that. The SCA DPC was very, very good. Speaking of DPCs, by the way, can I just say, right? Like we have a tournament in Riyadh right now. We've seen a lot of teams from the Middle East region. Like a lot of players, and now teams are moving up. At what point do we see a Middle Eastern DPC? Which is something I've been asking for years, right? How many more players and teams? How many more orgs are going to have to come out of this region for Valve to say this region deserves a DPC? Even just one slot. Like, quite frankly, I believe they deserve probably more than one. Even though you tend to want to start with one, like SA did, for example. I think it was one that they started with. But regardless, you get my point, Jonathan. When do we see a Middle Eastern DPC? How long is it going to take?
I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I don't know how big the player base really is, like, to sustain the server. I think that's the one thing, because a lot of them play on Europe in the end.
Right.
But I would love to see it. I mean, we've had a lot of talented players come out from the region, even all the way back, right? Like, it feels like Quest is like second or third generation from that region. So there must be a pool of players there, but you know, one could argue some time ago you had the same situation with India, right? Like in their forced to play Southeast Asia, the Indian servers were like, and that region was left alone. It's moved on for the most part, outside of like Krish. Krish is like literally the only player I think that's trying to be active. So I would love to see more support. I definitely would. I think it's good for the region. I think it's good for everyone to get more exposure of Dota out in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see that. Just one slot, sure, and we can see other names outside of people joining into the Eastern Europe for the most part, and
That's what I'm
actually see what the
saying.
region has.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Because the Western Europe fans keep complaining, oh, we don't have enough slots, Western Europe, like, always top 4, how can we not have more slots, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, if you removed a couple of the teams, just take some of those teams, put them in the Middle East and DPC, would I'm sure, cause a bit less traffic in the Western Europe DPC and, move out from there, I think. I mean, I don't think the region's going to necessarily have an issue raising funds for a DPC, to say the least, so... I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, we see it. I mean, maybe a team like Quest does really well at TI, and if they get to TI, and maybe that'll change everything. Who the hell knows? Update for the people that are asking in Twitch chat, when is the B stream game going to start? We still don't know. We are trying basically every 30 seconds to start the game. So as soon as the game starts, I promise you it will be on the screen.
Yes, definitely will be on the screen. I mean, where else would it be, Mike? The game will have to be.
Well,
so,
they could keep us on stream, Jonathan.
That'd be
Could you imagine how mad people would be if we just said, "Oh, the game's been live, by the way. We're 20 minutes into the game right now." I mean, how furious would you be listening to our crap for the last 20 minutes and find out the game's been going on the whole time? It hasn't, by the way. I promise you, the game has not started. But it would be funny, somewhat,
It would be very funny.
Until we get literally cancelled and never work again.
Oh, yeah, it would be a trade-off.
Yeah.
But all for the pod.
Yeah.
A much better produced podcast than we say, look at that background, look at that sponsor box. We don't have any of it.
No, we don't.
We've got it here.
Speaking of which, by the way, John, you see the KFC sponsor there. Shout out to KFC. Weren't you once meant to do an ad with KFC? I could have sworn you told me that you were meant to get... Like, KFC wanted to sponsor you for an ad in the Philippines, if I'm not incorrect in saying so?
Yeah. They
realized it was a stupid choice?
I have no idea. It just never pushed through. It made me very sad.
Unlucky.
I was excited for some fried chicken,
Unlucky.
No. Never got it.
Oh, that's what. Unlucky, Jonathan. Next time you'll get.
There is no next time, Mike. I'm done. I'm washed. Don't try to cheer me up. You know this. You crossed 30 as well. You know you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Mike, it's over.
Yeah. Shout out to KFC anyway, Jonathan. Shout out to the boys from KFC.
That's quite the segue, Michael Phoenix. Quite the segue. After saying we're done. Pretty good chicken. I haven't had it in a while. I do enjoy the double down. That might be a very bad thing to say, but I think
it
was interesting. It's like the two zinger patties together as a sandwich, yeah,
with the cheese. Yeah. I know the one. You liked
right.
that? I couldn't. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I couldn't finish it. Right.
Oh, the serving sizes in the Philippines are very different. It's actually very different. Like serving sizes here in general are just different. So it was quite a fair bit smaller than the pictures, but still enjoyable. It was quite a nice treat.
Sorry, Jonathan, one moment. I'm following some instructions.
Yes, you should. There are instructions. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, Mike.
What's my console binded to, John?
It is defaulted to left-leaning / of your entry key. By default. I think that's my default, but I don't know if
it's not working.
Do you have your console enabled on your options?
Probably not.
Live tech screening right here.
Go on, John.
We've got a live tech fix right now. Mikey, check if your developer console is enabled in your settings, and then check your console hotkey in your hotkeys in the advanced hotkey section.
Well, hold on. What settings to check the console first?
Where is that? Is it in options, advanced options? Is it there? Enable console is somewhere here. I forget, man. I have not
there. You know what, Jonathan? I figured it out. There we go.
Oh, good job, Mikey. Good job. I knew you could do it.
Right.
I believed in you, Michael Phoenix.
Let's see if this is going to allow us to start the game, shall we?
We shall find out.
Excellent.
We shall find out. What else? So I'm going all the way back. We're rolling it back here a little bit onto that point. I play that other shooter. And this you say I sound like a dad because I sound disappointed. I'm not even I'm just saying call outs, Yeah, I'm just saying confirm, I'm just saying call outs for like stuff happening in the game, and I just get randomly asked, "Are you dad?" Like, no. Then they laugh. They have the heartiest laugh I've ever heard. And I'm like, what's so funny? What's so funny about me? This is just, was it funny that an old man plays video games?
You're a
Is
funny
30-year-olds
guy,
really that old?
It is funny, Jonathan. You're a funny man.
Funny.
I've got a couple questions here. Zach tweeted at me saying, when will Australia have a real Dota 2 team? Fun fact for all the Dota 2 historians out there.
Here we go.
Fun fact, we once had one of the best teams in the world that came from Australia. 5 Australian players No, I'm wrong. It was 4 Australian players, 1 Canadian player by the name of Bleak, if I remember correctly. TI2, they were meant to pop off. I believe they were literally ranked like 2nd in the world at one point. In front of Na'Vi, which was the old Na'Vi squad that had won TI1. That's how great these guys were. And then they went to TI2 and flopped, to say the least. I'm not going to lie, it was a pretty bad performance. I remember I was staying up in the middle of the night watching Jonathan. It was terrible. And since that one Australian team, which you can look it up, it was Natural 9. They became Absolute Legends, I believe, which was a League of Legends sponsor. Forget about that crap, right? But Natural 9 into Absolute Legends. They played in TI2. They flopped completely. But if you look up the stats, they were once rated the 2nd best team in the world. Ahead of Na'Vi, I believe, who just won TI1. That's how great that team was, Jonathan. Alas, though, as Dota players do, they argued over absolutely nothing and split up, and that's the history behind it. We just can't get players together. You know what it is, John? If you join a high MMR Oz pub, which I've had the displeasure of having to do, what happens is everyone there that is semi-decent at the game wants to act like Arteezy, and I don't understand it, right? Like, old Arteezy, he'd pop on the stream, he'd get on comms and just give trash to his team, like he'd just trash talk his team the whole time. He might delete his items, go mid, basically like a tamed Quinn right now, right? That's what it's like in the Australian servers right now. It just feels like everyone's, just mad about nothing. They break some items, run it down mid, then they get on the comms and they put on that weird, they put on some voice and like that. The voice I'm talking about, like the nerdy voice where they act smart. Is this weird? Like there's a voice to when they go, well, actually, there's that weird nasally aspect to the voice that they put on.
Yeah.
That's where the Australian servers are at right now. Everyone wants to be like Arteezy from 5 years ago. It's kind of weird. As we do have a draft. We have a draft. Ladies, I promised you get the update straight away. We've got a draft. Game 2 of OG against 9Pandas. Mr. Production. Mr. Producer, let's throw it over. Mr. Producer, wake up. Come on. It's been... Oh, Mr. Producer's now delaying. All right, come on. We'll give you time, Mr. Producer. There is a draft going on. There we go. There we go. Sadly, our producers learnt the hard way that we throw everyone under the bus.
Oh, Mike, you sly devil. We've got the draft. I'm not sure if these are the same bands. The Brood looks the same. The Veno, I'm not sure anymore because it's been an eternity since the last time we saw the draft pop out, so I'm guessing we're just running new. If OG were following the script, as from the last time we tried to launch, it would be an Undying ban right now. That I can remember, and into a Darkseer pick, but you shall find out. If they remember to ban, there you go. The Undying's out. 9Pandas? What is their ban? I can't remember. Alright, and then it's into the Darkseer for OG. And we are back! We're back! This is where we were last time at the draft.
Here we go. Same draft. Never mind. 9Pandas. They go for the Storm Spirit. They'll go into the Skywrath Mage. So a bit of a switch up from 9Pandas. We've seen how great Kiyotaka can be on this mid-storm, so you love to see that flying out. Obviously 9Pandas looking to force a draw, so going back for a bit of comfort. Mind you, this storm, if I remember correctly, it was nerfed, right? In that recent patch. Am I correct in saying that, or was it ignored? Yeah. It may have been... Oh, let me just.
I'm not
I'll
sure
just look
anymore.
up.
I mean,
I'll just.
with Pugna nerfed, you could argue that Storm was indirectly nerfed as well, I suppose. But Storm still is a hero that can pop off pretty hard. Kiyotaka's especially on that Storm. Saw Uji ban it out last time. Now they're prioritizing this for Kiyotaka. Just going for a nice safe pick. With its Skywrath Mage, there's a lot of play potential here. There's a little bit more team fight with the Ags build up eventually. OG just back into the TA. And they can run this for BZM mid. They can run it for Yuragi safe. Pretty open for them to toss this one around. If it's a mid lane matchup, it's not the worst thing in the world for a TA. It's also not particularly amazing. So I'm wondering what the game plan is from OG. They have picked 2 cores in the first phase. So establishing their win conditions not too far off from game 1. If anyone can remember what happened then.
Yeah.
And there was a TA, there was a Darkseer, there's no Enigma, so that's the one major change so far. But I think for 9Pandas, again, the pertinent thing for them is playing as a team. It's a lot more disconnected. I think this time they've got to understand that Miero cannot allow to give this TA free farm if Yuragi's playing it, and if Kiyotaka's up against it, he really has to crush that lane. They can't give away their stacks either. That was something OG was very on top of, so we'll find out if they do correct in that way. They've had a lot of time to think for that, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Jonathan, to answer the question I asked you earlier, there was a slight nerf to Storm Spirit last sub patch, but it's pretty whatever. Like the max level Vortex still does 2.1 seconds, so they nerfed the duration of Vortex for the early levels. That's pretty much it. You know, level 1 feels really bad now. That's the TLDR. Because we are going to go into the ban stage. Silencer, Bloodseeker, all being removed. OG obviously going back for the TA. Probably going to feel really nice for them because it worked very effectively last game around. TA loves heroes like the Skywrath Mage. 0 base armor is going to be very easy to just get through her. Doesn't mind laning against the Storm Spirit. I'm sure you've already talked about all these things. And we'll have to wait out some bans, John. But I imagine 9Pandas going up against the Templar Assassin again and the Darkseer again should have a decent kind of idea of what they should do about it.
You should take care of some laning combos. Again, last time you did run Darkseer and the Enigma lane for Seb, instead of running it with, say, the Clockwork there, but you still want to take away any combination that uses the Iron Shell all too well. Does feel like they've taken out the Silencer, of course, as you mentioned. They could still ban out the Clockwork or Nyx. Nyx could be pretty nice against the Storm. Just spike Carapace when you see a Remnant around, randomly stun the Storm, lead to a kill. Well, ban the Nog instead, taking care of the cores. Expecting perhaps a TA mid this time for BZM, considering the matchup. And for OG, they've just stuck to Ramsey's bans. I mean, Bloodseeker and his Alk, probably his best heroes. I don't know if Medusa's worth mentioning nowadays, as the hero's really damn dead, and it's a Darkseer, so you probably don't want the Medusa anyway, but that's probably one of the other picks for Ramses outside of, say, what's remaining. Something like Terrorblade or Jug, perhaps, being options for him here.
We shall see. Now think about the ban a little bit more. You talked about the Jug, you talked about the TB. Both those cores feeling very, very potent right now in this current patch, current meta. See, the Jug wasn't really too big of an issue for OG last game around, so they might want to leave it, to be absolutely fair. But even the TB, like, it is a hero that does take its time. Mind you, arguably it is one of the better heroes against a hero like TA, but well, they get rid of the Lycan instead here, OG. So just not wanting to allow that kind of tempo setting core from the offlane to come in for 9Pandas. And I say from the offlane, we have seen Lycan safe lane with the Harpoon build up as well. So you can go down that route, as it is a universal hero now for some reason. 9Pandas, final ban for themselves.
5 seconds remaining.
Your big issue here is figuring out if your TA is going safe or mid. And that flexibility for OG is pretty big. So they have to keep their ban pool pretty wide here as well. They were worried about a different Yuragi hero, perhaps like a Monkey, Faces Void, the Slark still available as well. Feels like a Slark can get a lot of things done here in this kind of game. Ties in with a Darkseer pretty nice. And lock in that Storm until the BKB's up. Just rush the Ags, you feel pretty good here. Wouldn't mind that kind of ban for 9Pandas, unless they were thinking about picking it up right next. As they do have first pick in the second phase. You can try to sneak with something like that for Ramses, although Slark laning into Darkseer is not particularly fun for Slark, I would have to say.
The 9Pandas, they'll take their time with this one. So yeah, a bit more pressure on 9Pandas, considering they have kind of forced themselves into a situation where they can only draw.
Oh.
They're going to go down the Oracle route. They did run last game around, which, you know, to be fair, Oracle does very well into Darkseer, because you could just purge off everything. But it didn't work last game. So we'll see if it changes anything this game too.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it was pretty rough last time around for Solo,
5
but
seconds
I
remaining.
think maybe they tie this in with the Jug once more, try to run it back. I think that could still pay off. I don't think the Oracle Jug was your issue last time around. You would want some stronger presence out from Yarrow. That's where the big draft change has to be. On that offlane. His Beastmaster just didn't really have a game last time around. Dark Willow comes out for OG. Pretty solid support to have. With the Darkseer if you want to run it there. Seb or with Taiga +1 for Yuragi. And the heroes felt pretty damn good. I believe it's also universal. So down the line you can scale with Ags, although I highly doubt we reach that point in this game, considering how fast game 1 went. The tempo is the big part. Lots of good teamfight, good control to tie in with your Darkseer. Vac Wall into the Brambles is going to feel pretty oppressive. Heck, if you just Vac Wall into your ultimate here can really melt heroes, and I like this Doom pickup. I think that's what 9Pandas might have wanted to prioritize first instead of this Oracle.
Well,
Just go into the Doom, have Miero have a good time in his lane.
Oh, if Miero, who's playing Doom?
Oh, that's a fair point.
10 seconds.
So what?
Could be...
Maybe like they could run Pos 4 Doom or Pos 5 Doom if they. I don't know what Seb's thinking. Yeah, it is Seb. He might do it. They could also run like mid Doom, safe lane TA, off lane Darkseer, but that sounds pretty atrocious, to say the least. I don't know. What are you thinking? Pos 5 Doom to Seb? Is that what we're about to see?
Lane.
Sorry, Pos 4?
Yeah, perhaps. But they could... You know what? Us 4 Doom with Darkseer. Scorched Earth, move speed plus Iron Shell? Not the worst thing in the world. Then again, up into an Oracle, it's always awkward, but you could still give it a shot if you wanted to here. I don't think OG's been really fond of Doom 1. In as much as Ramses have played that, or other carries have played that Doom Pos 1. I don't think it's likely that they give Yuragi something like this. Maybe we got something weird. Maybe it's something like a Dark Willow core. That would be maybe a little bit too left field. There's that Jug we were talking about for 9Pandas, so again, running it back. Yeah, it's really open. I like this from OG. Just keep them thinking. They don't have last pick overall, so they will have to show that flex rather early, but you could run Doom support, you could run Doom 1, you could... I don't know about saying this. You could run Darkseer support. It's maybe not the best. Probably is very, very much not the best, but it's a possibility, I suppose.
To be absolutely fair, I feel like we should premise this with a disclaimer. We did think that 9Pandas had a better draft last game, and OG did finish in 24 minutes. So there's the disclaimer, right? Let's be honest here, John.
To be fair as well, Miero was rushing Ags against a TA with no protection. So, and all his stacks were taken.
Surprising of you to bring that up, considering you're the one who loves seeing the drums of Slom.
I love the drums of Slom. I understood why he rushed it. I don't think you rush it without the Vanguard. You know, in that game in particular, you needed some armor. For sure. Yeah.
Final ban out. Tidehunter being removed here by OG. They also got rid of the Underlord. Slark being removed by 9Pandas. So they seem to believe that maybe a position 1 is still yet to come from OG's end of things.
10 seconds remaining.
So OG are definitely cooking with this draft, to say the least. Seb's up to something.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh,
he's had an over an hour to think about it, to be fair. We had such a long pause, so it's he's had a long time to come up with some cheeky draft. It's 9Pandas. He's cooking. Let him cook. Meepo ban is there, 9Pandas. Just making sure, just in case. They do have a storm after all, so you don't want to risk it. Final pickup. What are we doing, OG? What's this? How are we rounding off this draft?
What's the spiciest thing I can think of? An AM is pretty spicy here.
What?
It's maybe a bit too spicy, but, you know, that could be the way you go.
What kind of analysis is this? Out of all things you've run, this is the SEA analysis right here. This is an SEA pub game to John Xfire. Yeah.
Look, we've gone through a long pause, Mike. My brain is gone. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. It's a specter. It's a specter.
If that was an AM pick, I would have literally sent you $1,000. As I would have been like, there's no way he doesn't deserve $1,000 right now. I'm lying. I don't have $1,000, Jonathan, but I would have tried to find a way. 9Pandas, final pickup.
10 seconds remaining.
That was a joke, Jonathan. I'm not that broke. It's okay. Calm down.
Seconds remaining.
Don't throw too
playing
much.
both sides.
Don't send any money via PayPal, John.
Which is it?
I heard how worried you were, Jonathan. Don't worry. Just close PayPal.
Who says I had anything in my PayPal? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
They go back. They run it back. They run it back into the Beastmaster. So you've got the Beastmaster
there it
Skyrath Mage combination. This lane should be a lot better for Miero. Seb is running that Doom.
Oh.
Nothing too insane. I mean, you called it, right? Doom Darkseer lane. Scorch would be nice if you're not
I guess.
being locked by the Oracle.
You
Could
know
make that
what?
work.
I'm going to say it's good. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, I don't think it is, but I'm going to say it, right? I feel like Seb's got something up his sleeve. He's got some plan. He's going to be like, trust me, boys. I'm going to devour this creep. I'm going to get stunned. Surge me with Iron Shell. I'll stun the Oracle, and we'll kill Solo a billion times. I feel like that's what Seb's telling his team. Something, trust me, guys. You know how it goes. You've watched True Sight, Jonathan. He's giving the speech right now. We all know it. Going with this draft game number 2, I mean, are we going to say again that 9Pandas has the better draft, John? Are you going to tell me this is a better draft from OG?
I don't want
I mean,
to
for
say,
God's
Mike.
sakes, they chose Spectre, John. They have a Spectre
I don't know.
on their team.
I don't want to say. I feel like this draft from OG actually works. Is the terrifying thing. I think for 9Pandas again, I don't expect Miara to get crushed this time. So I don't know if he's going to rush Ags again. If he'll run it back without the Vanguard, I don't know about that. It's all down to how 9Pandas plays. I think if they play well, if they play to their strengths, there's a really good tempo where you can punish Yuragi much more than you could in game 1. And you can maybe handle BZM a little bit better on TA. Your matchup here for Kiyotaka is maybe a little bit rougher. So you would want to, I suppose, just emphasize mid once more as we saw in game 1. And unfortunately, we've got to pause.
Don't say it. Oh, he said it. He said it.
Pause
Yes, ladies.
once more.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have thrown to the game and we do have a pause. However, on the bright side, no server issues. This is a different issue that can be easily resolved.
We're in
And it happens every
game.
tournament, by the way. I'm not sure what it is with TeamSpeak and Discord and all these communication softwares that we provide at tournaments, but players are doing something because it breaks every time, apparently. There
It's
we
all
go.
that lobby chat. It's all that spam. It's on BZM, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's all that spam. You get into it. Tips are out.
I was gonna make a bit of a stupid joke, John. I couldn't help but notice people in another chat were saying something like Pure's using too much bandwidth or something by using by watching the stream. Shout out to Pure. Poor guy's copped it so much the last couple of years. You know, he's a great player. You know, I'm sure he
Great
laughs too.
player. Yeah. Just needs to disconnect that keyboard sometimes. Or
Someone
his
just gonna
mouse.
someone just lock the PC when there's a pause. That's all you gotta do. Coach slams
Just-
the door open, locks the PC.
Locks a PC or locks him? Which one is it?
Let's lock something. Get his hands out of it. Speaking of, Seb needs to get out of here, John. Look where he's running. Seb, it's not safe. Seb, don't go for the watcher. Oh, here we go. The slow's out. Seb, can he find a way out of this one? A max duration. Fortune's End. Blood grenade's gonna land. Seb, he's gonna try and get into the tree line and juke this one. Oh, that's a great tree placement. Seb gets the tip here from BCM. Not gonna matter. Is eventually gonna tie as Untitled takes the kill. BZM trying to respect his elders there, John, with the tip, but it is a bit of wasted tip there from BZM.
It's a great block, but not quite enough to avoid the death. It was massive commitment coming out from the side of 9Pandas, so for the most part, OG. They get the 3-for-1 in exchange for that first blood. First blood going to Sky, not the biggest deal in the world. So you kind of don't mind. Fine with that trade-off. Again, OG started worse in game 1. 1-4, and they still came out on top. This time it's looking a lot smoother, Mike.
It is. Should we start with this bottom lane? Well, we were going to. We'll start with the top lane here, John. Oh!
Stop confusing Eason!
Oh, Eason's
Stop!
sitting there like, what's this idiot going to say next? Well, what's this dumbass going to say now? Bottom lane, Miero and Antares going to be up against Yuragi and Tiger. So this bottom lane, we kind of briefly went over it, John, but do you have the advantage one way or the other here? Do you like one... In fact, hold that thought, because Miero and Antares are getting very aggressive already. But what do you think?
I think this lane's a lot more manageable for Miero. He's going for the board build-up as well, not going for the axes. You can just harass out Taiga. You've got good spacing here for Antares. He outranges the Dark Willow, so you're always going to win out in trades until that Shadow Realm is up to higher levels for lower cooldown, but even then, they're pretty happy on the Sky here. I don't think Yuragi's going to get shoved out too hard, though. Like, even with all this harass coming out, he's still fairly healthy on the spec. You should be able to still manage this lane somewhat well, as long as Taiga doesn't die, and he's got the regen to at least back him up in these trades here.
Yeah. The mid lane should be a bit of a better time for BZM, I would argue. Like, the TA vs Storm matchup is generally pretty TA favored, and you're seeing BZM really abusing it. Kiyotaka, watch the side blades. That was close. Now, BZM really starting to dominate that mid lane. And Kiyotaka, he's literally only got a Fairy Fire. Very, very kind of desperate times for Kiyotaka already.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, not a fun time for Kiyotaka for sure. BZM, he knows how to play this TA mid, he knows his matchups. Just line up those side blades, and there's not much counterplay a Storm can do. Can't clear out the Refraction Cider. That's where that early pick Storm can fall in your face here, and OG and BZM just managing that lane very nicely. I don't see any relief for Kiyotaka either. As the levels go up, this just becomes better and better for the TA. Something like a support rotation has to come in, but...
Oh, bottom lane, Tiger is going to go down. They'll try to trade with Antares, but he's going to be just fine. Survive another day, so Tiger the one to drop down to the bottom lane. Second kill here for 9Pandas. That'll be about it. It seems as... I mean, Antares is still very, very low, so Tiger might be able to come in and try and sort this one out. Try and maybe get themselves a kill here. In fact, he is going to start moving in now. Brambles is going to land. Shadow Realm damage will be there. Skywrath still... Oh, Antares! Well, what happened there?
He was hiding really close to the tree line. Neither one had direct vision of each other, I believe. Taiga opts to right-click Miero. They still find that kill in the sky because he takes too long to back off. So it's rather awkward trade-off. So far, feeling pretty good for 9Pandas overall. I think you're still in a good position here. You've got free farm for Ramses up top, which we haven't really talked about too much, but your Jug is farming pretty freely, as we saw last time as well. Not too much Seb and TM can do, although it'll cut into solo.
Yeah, nice fact back onto Solo. Just chase him down. Solo will go for a Fortune's End, but Seb will have his way with him, no problem. Scorched Earth damage will get the job done. And he's got that really annoying mana burn creep on the Doom as well. So not only is he going to have constant mana to use Scorched Earth, but mana burn is just such a nuisance for the Oracle. You know, like you're so mana dependent as this hero. Seb's actually going to rotate mid now, it seems, as the pos 4 Doom. Classic Seb shenanigans. He'll scout out some stacks. He'll find Kiyotaka and Solo. They can't believe what they're seeing right now. He'll take the water rune away, and there is going to be zero punishment. Seb getting away with it.
Kiyotaka didn't get a bottle top-up as well. I think he tried the handoff onto the Oracle, but somehow it didn't get the top-up, so doesn't have any bottle charges to play with. And this mid is just the most painful part of the game right now for 9Pandas. Kiyotaka's just getting nothing. No rune control, no backup, no way to gank this TA early. OG putting all their attention onto this Storm, understanding what Kiyotaka can do with a runaway game, and just ensuring it's not going to come out.
Look at him. Look at this Doom. He hasn't left. This mid lane, Seb is still standing there, and all he's doing is walking in a mana burning Kiyotaka. This bottom lane, I realize there is action going on. It seems like there'll be no kills to happen. Seb is still middle lane. Look at this. Kiyotaka is not being left alone. Seb is waiting with mana burn, waiting for him to come back for these stacks, so he can keep abusing Kiyotaka. And if Seb somehow finds a way to solo kill Kiyotaka, I will not believe my eyes. Because he's looking for a way to do it. He'll get some vision down. This is very high impact play from Seb. Like, they know the Storm can't contest the TA mid lane, and Seb is literally making it impossible to catch up by taking stacks. This is really smart gameplay from Seb.
This is crazy. Forward wards as well to spot out that top jungle. Just handling the mid. You know the Storm's going to be the big issue here. They're control is down to pretty much
Bottom
just the
though.
Doom.
Bottom. They are going for a chase. Nice rotation from Solo. Uragi finally going to go down. They might find Solo on the Oracle, and eventually they will. Meanwhile, mid lane though, Kiyotaka, he's still level 4. They'll just chase him down. Oh, Seb. Bottom lane, they're still going. Still trying to find Tiger. They might get him eventually. But Seb's coming. Big old Seb is coming, John. I don't know if you want to mess with this guy right now. This post-4 is setting up everything for his team. They will brambles up Miero. Scorched Earth in 5 if he wants to pop that. Uragi does not have it. Oh, he did have a dagger, but just lacked the vision. Seb is still chasing. Miero is going to be somewhat cautious, but seems like he's going to be okay. And the smart thing about this rotation, John, is OG are now in position to take the 7-minute Wisdom Rune on the Dire side if they want to.
And they can sneak forward if they want. They find a freebie on Taurus once more.
Oh, Miero, he's out of mana. Seb is diving tier 1 towers as a level 3 position 4 Doom, and he's getting away with it as Tiger's going to head towards the right side. He'll go after the 7-minute Wisdom Rune. Meanwhile, Miero is still not safe. In the meantime, BZM is literally soloing Kiyotaka, who's still yet to hit level 6 at almost 7 minutes in. This game is looking like a real wash right now, John, from OG's end, because they are just not backing off. They continue with the brambles out on Miero. It's just complete chaos. This is literally classic OG. They just play a game and you just don't understand what game you're playing anymore.
Yeah. And the forward vision to give the pickoffs onto
They got both
Kiyotaka.
wisdoms.
Getting both wisdom runes with that aggressive movement out. There's just nothing 9Pandas can do. Now Miero. Oh boy.
This is disgusting. This is a revolting game from him. I'll tell you right now, like, Tiger might die here. Tiger, stick charges and Shadow Realm are available. Sadly, he won't have the mana for the TP though, but he is buying even more time. He'll try to turn back around. Miero will back and that'll be it. He'll get the kill onto Tiger. All that was for a position 5 Dark Willow. Meanwhile, mid lane, BZM now level 8 compared to the level 5 of Kiyotaka. And just look at Seb. Like, leave him. Seb, he doesn't need your help. He doesn't need it. Or does he? The chase is on now. The TA's in trouble. BZM's gonna go for a run. Can they actually deal with this man? Ramses has got the Omni, but Refraction's up in 1 second. He might have the time. They'll go for the spin instead. BZM gonna try and juke his way out. The TPs are incoming. The Brambles won't know it will land, but the Omni's there with no strike. BZM is still trying to get his way out, but eventually Ramses will find the kill. But are you telling me this is still Dota, John? Tiger?
No.
Tiger's gonna get spun on now. Tiger should be dead. Ramses will eventually claim his life. A double kill for the Jug.
It's a big win for Ramses. Again, it's pretty reminiscent of how Game 1 went. The Jug having to show up early to make these fights, this time without the Battle Fury even. There's understanding he has to relieve some pressure in the game. The map pressure being applied by OG, quite overwhelming. At the very least, you get a little bit of bounce back with your Jug, but your Storm is just dead in the water. Kiyotaka has nothing. He's going for Midas here, Mike. He needs that catch-up.
I mean, I don't mean to make matters worse. He got stunned by the Ogre Smasher, John. The Ogre Bruiser. It happens, John. It does happen, but not when you're this far behind. It doesn't. You know, no use looking across the map right now, Kiyotaka. Just look at the creeps. So that's all that matters to you at the moment. Like, he's still level 6. Trying to get towards that Falcon Blade, and finally does have it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Miero does push in the bottom tier 1 tower. Seb's messing around in the Dire Triangle for some apparent reason. He'll go for a run, but the thing is, in the meantime, top lane, they found the Storm again. Kiyotaka, he'll go for a zip in, but BZM's waiting right there for him. He judges the distance. He judges the distance, and Seb is running. Seb is still running. Oh, he's got help on the way. He'll die. But they might find a bit of a trade here as Untitled is going to get slowed up. They've got a double, it seems like. Solo's been caught. He'll go for a Fortune's End, but BZM has more traps available. Slows him up into the tier 2 tower. BZM having just the cleanest game of his life. As they will find the Oracle. And in case you were wondering, in fact, hold that thought, because Kiyotaka, he's feeling a little bit spicy here, John, but it may cost him his own life. He'll find Tiger, but he needs to get out. He'll be okay.
Oh, God.
But Seb's impact, John. I'm telling you, these little plays he's making, like the distraction play in the dire triangle, making them chase him across the map, while Kiyotaka's just casually dying on the top lane as the storm. BZM. Meantime, they'll get the sentry down, they'll pop the roar out, the TA is not dropping, here comes DM, he'll get the vac wall off, there's 3 targets caught in that, Kiyotaka forced to zip out, Miero, he will not be so lucky, he's gone. Tiger, in the meantime, surged up, Kiyotaka, he's already out of mana, oh, they terrorize him, and you know what, John, they are literally terrorizing him, this is a violation. OG are violating 9Pandas right now. That's what's happening.
I don't understand. Like this obs ward that Seb dropped early on in that cliff spot by the top jungle. It was never dewarded. It expired.
Ramses
and
Seb almost got a doom off. I think Ramses was not expecting to be level 7 already, but he is.
I don't understand. Like it was pinged out by Kiyotaka in his first death in that area from BZM, and they didn't do anything. They didn't deward. They didn't manage
this
to
will be a big one. Mystic Flare out. They've got BZM. That's a huge kill. 9Pandas still finding ways to find these pickoffs, and to be absolutely fair, you do have Vortex into Mystic Flare. So you can practically kill anyone off the map right now as 9Pandas. You do have some comeback potential here for Kiyotaka. That's good news.
He's catching up a little bit. All things considered, he's only about 200 gold behind Uragi. So that's a good sign for that Storm. The fact that at least one of the core results is suffering, which means the power balance between these two teams isn't too far apart. You're getting a ton of good space out for Ramses, going back to that Yasha probably into the Manta, as per usual for Jug. And again, you've got more impact coming out from Miero, even with just split push with the help of the Dom into the Overlord. So you're going to be able to do a lot more. Just hold off in that early tempo that OG's prepping up here.
Seb's waiting in the way. Kiyotaka, he's going to take the bait, but the Doom's out. It was all a bait. You can see it from a mile away. Kiyotaka, he's going to have to be the victim. Blink up on Seb. 12.5 minutes in. The guy that's been roaming the map as Doom is now almost level 8 with the blink up. Is he playing offlane or support, John? I'm not even sure anymore.
He's definitely still that support. Just a massive impact on that pause 4. Not even a flashy place, just running around, getting the distractions out. At least for 9Pandas, they're not falling for the bait too hard. Perhaps Kiyotaka, he seemed a little bit tired in lobby chat. Just a little bit of a sneak peek there. There was talk about hot tubs. There's talk about sleep. Perhaps some of that seeping in here for Kiyotaka.
Kiyotaka's going to find Tiger. Tiger's actually the one getting aggressive, but does need to find a way out now. So Zip's going to be there from Kiyotaka. This should be a freebie. The Terrorize is going to land, buying even more time now for the Dark Willow. Still, they'll try again. They'll make the jump in. Ramsey's even going to show up from the right side, as Tiger eventually does go for the Shadow Realm once again, but it's not going to be enough. So Ramsey's picking up his 3rd kill of the game now, but bottom lane, Miero is going to go down. They'll find a Beastmaster. At least Ramses, though, is forcing in the Tier 1 mid tower. And he is top of the net worth board as the Jug, so he's having a very good game.
Yeah, a lot better than Game 1. Given the space he needs, taking these safer fights to join in, rather than the massively risky fights that 9Pandas were forced to go into. He's got that scaling lined up. Again, your big issue right now for side of OG is you need a ton of space for Uragi. Even when his lane went fairly okay with all those kills and pressure onto Miero, the spec is just not the quickest farmer, even with a blade mail up. So it's going to take a lot of time to stall here. And you're also still needing a little bit more farm on BZM.
Kiyotaka's going to enjoy this one. He's going to enjoy that one. There goes Seb. They'll find him out. Seb was trying to go back for his Wisdom Rune, but will pay for it with his life. OG immediately just going up towards the top lane, trying to see if they can find Kiyotaka. Instead, though, it's just going to be Untitled. BZM, though, will accept the kill. Untitled just has no chance of survival. OG still in a pretty strong position. 2k advantage their way. The saving grace right now is the fact that Ramses is top of the net worth board on the Jug, though, for 9Pandas.
Yeah. Doing quite a fair bit with that space. And Jug's going to scale up nicely into a mid-game tempo here. So you kind of want to keep that pace up. The issue is BZM is now ready to play. In Blink and Dragonlance, he's more than ready to look for these pickoffs and softer supports. And once the Desolator stop Roshan, it's going to be a very real possibility for OG. The 9Pandas might not be ready to kind of deal with. That should line up with Miero's Overlord, so So you could try to pressure into some tier 2s, maybe start to clear out the other tier 1s on mid and top. But yeah, you will have to watch that TA. Again, it doesn't feel like you have the smoothest answers, although with the Sky, the combination does feel a lot stronger, but you have a lot to worry about with just the Blink Doom being up, the Vac Wall still being a big factor here from DM, who's also farming up into his auras very nicely here. Again, this is a much more playable position for 9Pandas, but they can't just coast their way into late game as well. Not up against the Spectre and Doom. Even the TA, there's a lot of scaling.
Bit of a setup here top lane, but 9Pandas, well, they'll say BZM. They might not be able to say no to this one. BZM, let's get a blink away. Now Tiger gonna move back in. Does get the terrorize off onto the Oracle, though Solo is still looking rather healthy with the Fate's Edict. So now Tiger, the one in danger, looking to back his way out, does eventually go down. BZM, he's still trying to move on forward. In fact, he's getting a lot of damage off now as Ryuragi comes in from the right side. Kiyotaka, he's out of mana. He'll mango up in the end. And in fact, I believe that was Untitled that gave him that mana to allow him to get back towards the fountain. But it will mean his own life. So quick thinking from the Skyrath, who I do believe gave him the mangoes to be able to have that mana.
Just giving a little bit more space out. Does get the save with the False Promise running on him as well. Not quite enough damage flying out there from BZM. Looks like they could attempt Roche, but BZM is just porting elsewhere. A little bit too early without that SO up. Going hunting further.
They could find Ramses. He's top of the net worth board right now. He's a big one. TP's coming to the outpost. Keep in mind, Seb has the blink. If they have any vision over Ramses, he's as good as dead. Ramses gonna get spotted now. Instead, they'll jump solo, but there's your stun out. Oh, they've got the jug. DM immediately had to tip over, knowing what he's done. Perfect setup here from Seb. Finding two for their trouble. Seb's just going for more. Just keeping up the vision. They'll see the Beastmaster too close to the tier 2 tower, so they'll leave him be. That's a perfect setup, though, from our Doom, right onto the jug. Zero hesitation.
You can see again the understanding OG has of what 9Pandas wants to do. They know where Ramses wants to farm. They know what areas he's not in with their movement out. A bit of a jump up top, though.
Yeah, nice Mystic Flare. But you do have the pipe up here on DM, and he's got the hand up. He's feeling cocky now. Kiyotaka, not quite out of mana yet. Needs to avoid the vacuum of DM, who does not go for it. Meanwhile, Seb has found himself a target. It's going to be Untitled on the Skyrath. Roshan, not feeling nice enough today. BCM will take his life. As well as Roshan's life, it seems.
Yep. And even without the full Deso, they've got the kills they need to kind of look for this Roche now. Melt strikes are up. Damage and not highest. They can sustain through this. 9Pandas. They can get some vision out with the Hawks, but they're a little bit too far here on Miero. Looks like it's going to be another freebie coming out here for OG, and Pandas, all they can do is sit back and farm. Hope that Ramses hits this point with the Butterfly where he can start to deal with some of these issues. They've got the full Overlord from Miero. They could look for a little bit of power pressure in exchange for that Roche.
You want something. Well, they might even find Tiger, who's trying to get through to the Twin Gates. He will make it out just in the nick of time. Roshan is still up. 9Pandas, they are coming. The creeps are here, but Roshan is down. It's too late. Miero will immediately look to leave the building, but the traps did scout out the Beastmaster's presence. So they know that with the TA traps, he is there. But he does have friends around. So G not going to bother trying to go for a bit of a jump onto the Beastmaster, I don't think. Though Tiger, still hanging around, but does keep his distance. Meanwhile, bottom, Ramses and Uragi kind of going at it a little bit. Fighting over the neutral camp, but are going to leave it. However, Ramses does need to be a little bit cautious, because there's 4 heroes suddenly from OG that are looking to make a jump in. Silence is there, yet Ramses will have Solo right behind him with the False Promise. So he'll play a little bit more on the edge.
Oh, it's Seb.
Meanwhile, Seb has been caught, so you don't have to worry about the Doom now. The 9Pandas, they might actually want to try and force something bottom lane, knowing that the Doom is down. It seems like for now, though, Ramses, he'll just accept the farm that he has down at this area.
Just keep building up. Still maintaining a decent lead here on the juggle, though not that wide with him and BZM. BZM, with the Aegis, with full Deso up. You have to watch yourself on these supports. The Oracle's the big one to find out, but even a nice kill into the sky would be massive, although the Ghost Scepter is up now for Antares from the Courier. Be able to save himself from some of that physical burst coming out. 22 to 13, but again, a much stronger position for 9Pandas in comparison to Game 1. Relative to that, like Miero has stacks. They haven't been able to snipe out these stacks as much. And Seb's still a massive threat on that Doom, but it's been mitigated to an extent. 9Pandas playing a lot more conservatively and just waiting for their own spikes, waiting for Ramses to become this unstoppable Jug, waiting for Kiyotaka to have his Sanj up with his Kaya for a little bit more forward presence here on the Storm. And all things considered, the recovery for Kiyotaka has been pretty on point. He was bottom net with Core, now he's not. He's above Yuragi. The Spectre's not given as much space as you'd want, although with Radiance up, and that can change very fast. Not even just the farm, just the presence from these haunts can be a little bit overwhelming at this point.
It's certainly very annoying to have to try and play against. Even, like, just the Skywrath Oracle, they're not going to have a very good time every time that Haunts pop. It's just the illusions themselves are just going to do so much damage to these two, and that's why they've got the Ghost Scepter already up on Antares. Mind you, obviously he can build into the Ethereal Blade for a bit more value later if he wants. It's like Solo's going to be going for a Glimmer Cape instead, just trying to protect himself that way. Bit of a quieter period now in this game too. 3k advantage still standing for OG. 9Pandas though, more than happy to drag out this game, because Ramses is playing Jug, and Jug is one of those carries right now that can scale very effectively into the late game. Like, Ramses is getting rather close now to his Butterfly. Once the Butterfly is up, it's already queued up a Lincoln Sphere after that, and suddenly you are looking pretty damn strong as this Juggernaut, I'd say. Unless OG catches you out right now down at this bottom lane, but he's nowhere near.
They've smoked up on OG. Good ward to just spot the TA kind of farming by herself. Should give a rough idea. As they are taking the Tormentor, not going to be punished for it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The Tormentor gone. Top lane, they're looking at Yuragi. They've got the level 2 Mystic Flare, so they've got plenty of damage to try and go after the Spectre. They won't catch him out. Meanwhile, Dire Triangle, OG, they're the ones to make the jump in. Solo's going to get caught. They've got an Oracle kill for themselves as Yuragi's trying to chase after the Jug. But Ramsey's obviously going to be the much harder target to chase down. We'll be just fine. Now take the Oracle kill, and maybe even stick around for the bottom tier 2 tower while they're at it.
Get a little bit of push going in, and with its Deso Weapon BCM, it doesn't take too long to melt these objectives. To be able to equalize from this pressure coming up top with Kiyotaka, who's not the fastest pusher. Surprised he's decided to just take over this part of the map. Be looking for a slow trickle of a response here from OG to punish.
Tiger. Vortex is out. They caught the Dark Willow. Meanwhile, Seb also being omnied up by Ramses does not get stunned up. He'll get the spin in time. So one already down. Tiger surviving. Does get the Terrorize. And now Kiyotaka. Oh, he gets double rooted. Not the fight you really wanted for 9Pandas. They get a much better trade on OG. 9Pandas once again just kind of forced to retreat. Though I say retreat, Solo and Ramses are still sticking around in that dire jungle. It's like the traps are going to slow up this Oracle. Solo is just going to Fortune's End it off, and he'll just walk away.
And just to bail out of a dicey position. The Aegis does expire now on OG, so you've done a great job of Pandas to just avoid this big spike from BZM. They've not been able to take off more on the map than I think they'd like. Tier 2 mid still standing, Tier 2 top still standing. Still a lot of space coming out here for Ramses. Butterfly almost completed now on the Jug as well. And leading into that level 18 mark, where the Omni Slash starts to feel really painful with that added duration. 0.25 doesn't sound like much, but considering how Omni scales, with the Butterfly up, it's going to be a massive spike for Ramses. More presence coming out here.
Yeah, chases onto Tiger. Tiger's got help incoming. Here comes BCM. Solo surviving a little bit longer. Will not survive for long. Reign of Destiny only going to do so much to keep him alive there. 9Pandas still on the retreat, still just trying to buy more time for their Jug. You've got some other decent core items coming up soon as well, like the Heaven's Halberd on Miera is a good one against the TA, that's for sure. Problem is, like, it's a bit of a struggle trying to find that kind of farm at the moment off this map as top lane. Jump is there onto the Spectre, but he is just not dying. Yuragi, he literally killed Antares with just reflecting damage. Kiyotaka still trying, might actually kill himself here. Oh, and he can't do it.
Shame you couldn't back up what you were saying.
Yuragi literally just popped Blade Mail. And the Skywrath died, and he survives.
Yeah, it's a Spectre. You know, you're reaching that point where Spectre's going to have all those stats up, has all the HP to tank through a lot of damage. And that's him without any sort of big stat padding as well on strength. You know, that's without the Manta, that's without the Ags. That's just going to be a scaling problem for 9Pandas to try to deal with down the line. No one that naturally builds into a break here either. Perhaps the Hex coming out from Kiyotaka can start to help the cause, but again, still a long ways off from that. Old Butterfly up for Ramses now, and that impact with Omnisash can be felt. The issue is finding the fight they'd want to take here on the side of 9Pandas. And they're playing under where they've got vision, playing around that bot jungle quite nicely. OG now looking for the shove in up top. They've got the push potential to come true. They've got DM working onto his Ags. Once that normal punches up, just punch up the spin TP on the Jug's not going to be as effective. A Jug illusion is going to do a lot of work here as well, considering all that farm. So a lot to be worried about.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yep. OG. Miro. Gonna move in. Ramses, Kiyotaka, they're all setting up. Tiger, he'll get the vision. They'll jump in. Seb, he's got the Doom out. He found the Beastmaster. Kiyotaka's desperately trying to control them up, but it's no good. OG have got full control of this team fight. It is not looking great for 9Pandas as the Omni-Slash does bounce around. Everyone shares the damage. Chase is on. They've already found one in Miro. Trap Slow is out onto the jungler. Ramses is still running out of there, but Seb, he will have other plans. Stuns him up, walks away. They'll try to chase down the Doom, but Seb is fine. Oof. Ramses barely getting out. Just barely. Though I can't say the same for Kiyotaka. John, look at this. Seb, leave him alone. Seb, Kiyotaka, completely out of mana. Looks like he's going to be able to make it.
Slips away the sliver of HP, but massive win once more for OG. Like, that's 9Pandas showing off what Ramses has as well. Just not enough. The illusions are made with a wall. Damage is spread. Spectre too tanky as well to deal with right now.
I mean, you give props to... In fact, hold that thought, because Tiger's currently being chased down. Zip forward from Kiyotaka is what I was meant to say. So they do get Tiger. Better say Kataomi for a moment there, John. So Tiger does go down, but I was going to give my props to Tiger for that last fight, because he walked in with the Shadow Realm to get the vision and break the smokes out, as Kiyotaka is going to jump in again onto BZM. This will be the big target if they can get it, but can they stop the TP? No, they can't. They cannot. That's just depressing to watch.
Miro just outside of range for the roar. He was just maybe a millisecond earlier, gets the roar off. Find that kill. Would have been a massive one onto BZM, but they missed their shot. And OG, and dancing around the side of 9Pandas. 29-15. A much better game for 9Pandas, but OG still in control. They're kicking into that scaling point now for the Spectre. With a Manta up, with the Ags coming in. The supports are going to be cannon fodder to this hero, just looking for the solo pickoffs at that point. No breaks in sight either for the side of 9Pandas anytime soon. Let's see if they find openings. If they can start to pick off OG one by one, they can maybe, you know, catch out the Doom or the
BZM,
Dark Wolf.
mid lane, they've got the flare out. Oh, BZM is not taking enough damage. He just pops the BKB in the end, fights back against Kiyotaka, who does zip away. I don't think it would have been enough anyway, but that Vortex pulled him out in that last half a second of the Mystic Flare. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Miro, gonna go for a TP play out, is probably just gonna make it. Mid lane, Tiger's going for a solo pick off here onto Antares, and he can do so. With the Bedlam up, it's no problem.
Thought you were winning.
Yeah, that is something Dark will excel at. Picking off these softer sports. One more.
Why not? Then the cape out. Tiger, he doesn't care. He'll get the Terrorize off. Another root out. And well, once BZM joins the picture, it's just lights out here for solo. Tough times again for 9Pandas here in this game too, as it's currently 31-15 with an 11k advantage for OG. And I'll tell you, like, while the first half of the day for OG was looking a bit rough, it seems like they're warming up. They're getting there.
They certainly are. And they still have a series after this as well, so just hoping that the momentum carries through for them. For 9Pandas, they're looking a little bit worse for wear. You know, they've played 2 series already. Again, coming into this one, they sounded pretty tired. from the lobby chatter that we have managed to see. They do have Roche access right now. We've got the vision with Miero, so they'll get started onto that objective. Try to get more going for themselves here. We've got the level 20 talent up on Ramses as well. So if you can time these fights to use the False Promise onto the Jug in a dire situation, you can heal back to full with a good Omni Slash off. Scan is there from OG though, and they are grouped up for a smoke here.
Roshan. Not going to take very long here. Will be given freely the way of 9Pandas as OG are just not able to make it in time, but they might still go for a fight. Tiger has scouted out Kiyotaka. They've already silenced him up. Kiyotaka, he'll zip away in time. Then in goes Uragi into the backside, just bouncing all across the fight, looking for a good target. He hasn't found one yet. I think he was looking for Solo or Antares, but he won't get it. Meanwhile, Tiger, he does get caught first off. They have lost the Dark Willow as Ramses jumped in. DM's going to be the target. Meanwhile, Doom is committed from Seb onto the Beastmaster, as now they're going to the high ground. The Twin Gates is where they'll fight, trying to take down Solo. Solo dropping low, gets the False Promise in time. Will survive another day toward the south. DM somehow bouncing away, but no. He's going to drop here to Kiyotaka, as now the TA. BZM a bit vulnerable without the BKB up. Could be in a bit of danger as they could turn. BZM still trying to fight this one out with the side blades. It's not going to be enough. Onto Seb again, the Doom. We'll get Vortex here by Kiyotaka. They'll lock him down with the Fortune's End, but Lotus Orb is going to throw it back the other way. Seb will TP out. But 9Pandas, well, they won't find anything else. But it's a great team fight on their end of things.
And they managed to make it work this time around. Managed to kite the side of OG. OG just a little bit too slow to respond to that Roche. Very quick take from 9Pandas. They grouped up all the way from the base. It was a long walk into that pit. Good positioning as well from Kiyotaka to break off on that side of the portal, giving the high ground vision onto that movement from Taiga. Managed to get it done. And this is the big power spike for the Jug. Just having level 20 up means that you are still tied into Omni Slash, but even without it, you can sustain for yourself in the middle of these fights. And he's going for the Yags. With that Swift Slash up, less downtime for the Jug. You can just join in these fights as he pleases and start to look for these big kills.
Solo just being chased by Spectre Illusions right now. Solo forced to mech up and pop the Fate's Edict to survive this, I think, is... He'll be okay, he'll survive. But that's the stage of the game it is for the Oracle now. You just can't deal with these illusions from the Spectre. 9Pandas going for that mid tier 2 tower. Already finding the bottom tier 2. Looking for a big zip. Kiyotaka gonna spot out DM, but he'll get away with the Ogre Seal Totem. And that mid tier 2 tower is not gonna last. OG now on the back foot. There's 9Pandas looking to go high ground. The tier 3 tower will be the big target. And OG, they're the ones that have got to find a way to try and defend this. And it seems like the glyph might just be enough for now. But you do have another 2 minutes 20 on the Aegis up. So it seems as though Ramses, he's not done yet. He'll go for a little bit more. Can they doom the Jug? Preferably on the secondary life. We'll find out though. Tiger immediately just bursted down. Jump in. Seb, he's there. He'll doom out the Beastmaster instead. Omni Slash gonna bounce through. Seb should drop, but is still walking away. Uragi in the meantime. He'll go after Solo on the Oracle. Solo with the Glimmer Cape might survive, and in fact he will. He'll survive another day. Uragi is forced to back his way out. Meanwhile, Aurora has caught the TA. Miero with a perfect setup onto BZM. And now, well, with the Omni, Uragi, he's copying all of it. The Spectre, no way out, is gonna drop. Ramses...
No buyback.
Finding another, and yeah, no buyback. That's a problem for OG.
It's 2 rats.
It's a big problem.
It doesn't take too long for all the damage you have here to get the gem as well. Taiga TP'd so far forward on his tier 3. That was not the position you wanted to TP into for that defense. Gets caught out, instantly combo down from 9Pandas, and that fight opens up from there. And this Jug, I mean, your Spectre can last through a lot, but not through Omni Slash when isolated all alone.
They're going to try and slow things down with the normal punch of DM. They can try to harass Ramses away. There's a normal punch out. Seb's in with the stun as well. They'll get the Terrorize on the Jug, but it's really just not enough. He's fine. He'll just use the healing ward and go back in as Kiyotaka from a mile away will zip forward. He does have the Scythe device up, keep in mind on the storm, so it's very easy for him to pick somebody off now. is they will get the secondary racks. Ramses, he wants the tier 4 towers. He does not care about going through the top lane. There's still a tier 1 and tier 2 there. He just wants the tier 4s. There's one down. OG, how do you find a way to defend this? I mean, they've got to try. Somehow, some way. So far, so good. 9Pandas out of the Radiant base now. But they've got an Aghanim Scepter up on Ramses all of a sudden. It's just on the courier. He'll bring it out slowly but surely. And Omni Slash is back in 20. So that might be around the time you want to go back in.
Without the safety net of Aegis, it can be a big risk, but you've got a lot going here for the Jug. You've got the creep for the attack speed that the Ancient Thunderhide can give you that frenzy. Even more attacks coming out in that Omni Slash. Looking for someone.
Seb jumping in, trying his absolute best to find somebody, but the stun landed on nothing. He gets caught on the Doom. Seb is gone. BZM, knowing the Roar is down, feels safe, but no, the Swift Slash into the Omni Slash. It's a lot of damage on BZM. He is down. They have found a second. No buyback, at least on the Doom, as now TM gets caught out on the Darkseid. He's gone without buyback. And I believe the game might just be over. 9Pandas may have made the comeback happen.
You get it going. The faith in Ramses again paying off here. Buyback forced out though.
Yeah, well, Swift Slash in onto the Spectre. Terrorize not going to come out at the side. The Vice locks him down. They are trying one last time. OG, can they actually defend this? The Ancient is alive, but Tiger is down. He'll buy back immediately, as they are still onto the Ancient. Ramses, he'll go for the spin into the right clicks onto the Ancient, but is forced to back as Yuragi does horn forward, but does get the hell out of there immediately with that Shadow Step as the jump is back in again with the Omni. Ramsey's trying to go after BZM. They found him on the TA. He is gone. No buyback available. Seb now trying to jump back in. A roar out into the Spectre. Ramsey's, he's literally ignoring everybody and just going right for the Ancient. He's doomed up, but it doesn't matter because he's got his right clicks available. Everyone else being ignored. A vacuum back. 9Pandas, they won't care. They'll go after the Ancient. That'll be it. A draw will be how this series ends, 1-1. 9Pandas pulling off the Game 2 victory after a pretty damn long pause between these two teams. And, well, there you go. OG, at the very least, like, you can leave this series knowing that you at least got your first win of the day. You know, that's a positive note for them. On the bright side for 9Pandas, so far in 3 series, they've only dropped 1 game. So they're in a very strong position right now.
Well, they've dropped 1 series earlier on in the day, so they are 1-1-1 after this result. But that does put them a little bit higher, not quite within the top 2, certainly within reach of that top 2 spot for the group. And it puts them in pretty decent position to build up on. Same thing for OG. 0-1-2 is not the ideal spot, but it is a start of a ramp up. And in this game, this is the 9Pandas we were expecting. Right? This is the kind of playstyle we were looking for from Game 1. Miera has a lot more impact coming out here. Ramses is not forced to join in for a lot of these early fights unless it's a guaranteed kill. Sure, you did have to sack Kiyotaka, but he managed to bounce back in, finding a couple of pickoffs. And the positioning here for OG was still on point. Seb was just scouting out, doing a lot of work on that Doom. His forward wards really is the most impressive thing. Like, never getting dewarded on that top jungle area, the secondary cliff closer to the tier 2. I was a little bit surprised that 9Pandas didn't go for the D-ward after Kiyotaka ping, but after a rough early game, this is what we see from 9Pandas a lot. They have rough early games, they clean up, they hold out, and Ramses carries the game for them down the line.
That he certainly did. I mean, it looked like a very strong game from OG. I feel like over half that game was all OG favored, but 9Pandas, they take it easy, they just lay back, relax, and just let Ramses do his work, and that he certainly did, so props to them for pulling off this Game 2 victory. Jonathan, that does mean we get to go into our final series tonight for the B stream, and that is, I believe, going to be OG once again, though this time around, they're going to be up against Team Secret. So the OG versus Secret matchup now coming up, so we're back into the Western Europe DPC, it feels like, here between these two teams, and well, I can't wait to see how that one's going to pan out, Jonathan. But before that, naturally, we are going to head off to a short break. And right after that break, we'll be back with our first game between OG and Team Secret. We'll see you all again very soon.